Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Downline Podcast. Ethan, I don't know about you. I'm having a spectacular week. Like,
Yeah,
generational week. Generational
for
flicks,
sure.
generational shows, like, we're here. We're so here, bro. And plus, we're that much closer to the deadline, and that's going to be fun. Um, what's the word, Ethan? What's the word today?
Well, first of all, elephant in the room. A certain movie came out that it was gotten some pretty good reviews so far. How about that?
Spectacular movie, bro. Listen, if anyone here has not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, go fucking watch it. That movie is incredible. It is. I would argue, as someone who's super into Spider-Man, especially, I would argue it's easily the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I would say it's a top 3 Spider-Man movie. Period. It's one of the best MCU movies. I think it's great. It's great. Absolute stunner. I saw it last night. Today's the 31st, so today's like technically the premiere. I guess technically I was at an early showing at one of the Cineplex in Toronto. You know what's really funny, Ethan? This is the first time I've ever experienced this in a movie. So, I mean, I guess they did this because it was like this is a big fucking like movie, right? So
Yeah.
we sit down, and the lights, it's to the point where it's right about to start, right? And one of the Cineplex employees comes out. He's at the front of everything, right? And he's like, "Hey, on behalf of the Cineplex and where we were, we want to thank everyone to coming to this Cineplex to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day." I've never seen that before, like
Yeah.
I've never seen that. And it was really funny is the lights shut off mid sentence, and then he's just like, "Oh, okay, never mind, movie's starting," and he's fucking dipped, and everyone started laughing. It was really funny. Yeah, movie was good. I saw there was a couple people dressed as Spider-Man in the theater. We saw it coming out.
Were you one of them?
I wasn't referring to myself, but I did have the suit. I was wearing
That's
some
you.
stuff over it because I was like, because I told my friends I was like, "Yo, does the Spider-Man suit make an appearance?" And they're like, "Yo, it has to." And then I put it on, and then I realized, okay, how am I gonna carry like my wallet and shit with me? And then I was like, all right, I'm putting on some clothes over top the suit. To be fair, the shirt was a Spider-Man suit. It was like the black one with like, the white logo. So, I mean, balanced out because I kind of need the phone because our tickets were on my phone. I kind of need my wallet too in case, and my keys and all that shit. I needed everything. Yeah, movie's fire. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, go watch it. It's generational. It will not disappoint. Yeah, that was fantastic part of the week. I also saw J. Cole this week, like 2 days before that.
How was that?
It was a great show, spectacular show. I'm not as like
Good.
I'm not as like diehard of a Cole fan as some other people. Like my 2 friends who I went with,
Yeah.
they're way more into Cole than I am. I'm a much newer Cole fan, so there were definitely like things that songs I didn't know that were played. Again, pretty new gen. I
Yeah.
can't lie, I don't know everything, but fucking banger time, absolute heater. He's great.
Love that.
But anyways, enough about those things. It's time for baseball related stuff. We got some things on the agenda today. Ethan, where do you want to start? 'Cause
Yeah, we could start with our monthly awards
all right, so
if you want.
yeah, let's do that. So as always, we do our monthly awards at the end of every month, or first pod of the next month, whatever. It's the 31st. No reason not to do the monthly awards at this point. It goes as usual. This is the 4th time we've done it this year, so y'all know how it goes by this point. Ethan, we'll start player of the month. You want to start in the AL? You want to start in the NL?
Let's start in the American League, the good old AL.
I have a feeling we both have the same answers for both of these, but you want to start or do you want me to start?
You could start.
For the American League player of the month, I have Yordan Alvarez. I feel like this one kind of easy. Not that there wasn't like other really good like kind of close months. It's one of those things where someone else might have a case. Someone like who do I want to say? Like someone like Stephen Kwan, like Loki, had a case this month, which is crazy because it's felt like the whole year we've been talking about
Yeah.
how much he's been struggling. So shout out to him. But other guys too. Wilson Contreras was incredible this month, one of the best hitters in the AL. But like, it's Yordan. With all due respect, it is Yordan Alvarez. He is the guy this month. He led the AL in WAR. He led the AL in WRC Plus. He was just a couple points behind Wilson Contreras for the lead in WOBA. Led the AL in slugging. He was the guy. He was the guy.
Yeah.
I think pretty definitively the guy, even if there were other guys who had really good months too. So Ethan, what do you got?
Yeah, I've Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, not really rocket science there, to be honest. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he led. He was the best player in the AL this month. I do think that if Wilson Contreras didn't get suspended, could have potentially been him if he kept up that same pace that he was at. But also shout out Ezekiel Duran and Rafaela also had incredible months, and Dylan Dingler, of course.
Yep.
All right, I guess we will move on now to the NL. I have a feeling that this one probably also have the same one. Ethan, who do you got?
I have. Okay, so
Ooh.
I have one guy here in particular. That's James Wood.
Okay.
I think that PCA was close behind, but I also can't mention James Wood without mentioning Abrams and Garcia. That 1-2-3 punch for the Nationals has just been absolutely out of this planet.
Yep.
And I do want to give it to Wood, but I feel like those three guys deserve credit as well, just for all performing at such an elite level, because all three of those guys, I'm not going to say Garcia, would be the number one player in the month, but all three of those guys have the argument to being, some of the best players in the month of July.
Yeah, because I have their stats for the month up right now. Those three, they're all in the top 6 in the National League this month in WRC+. So,
yeah,
those three make up 3 of the best 6 hitters in the National League. Abrams and Wood are 1 and 2. Wood is 1, Abrams is 2.
Yes.
And Garcia
then
is 6.
Luis Garcia, who has 7 home runs and, 161 WRC+, and has a 640 slugging in the month. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely absurd.
Which, again, not the first time that we talked about this on the pod. Insane that he's just a big power hitter now. Because he's just never been that. He's never surpassed, he's never reached a 170 ISO, and now he's knocking on the door for 300 ISO. Crazy. We know why. We've broken it down before, but
yes,
it is crazy. James Wood, I mean, he's incredible. And Abrams, too. I saw this tweet. I'm sure you saw it, too. There's honestly
a trade?
There's a chance that one of us sent it to each other. It was AJ Preller literally traded 2 Juan Sotos for a year and a half of Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny because you look at the OPS numbers and it was Wood was number 1 in the NL, Soto was 2, and then Abrams was 3. I don't know how that holds up now. I haven't looked, but I haven't really cared to look at the development in the past, couple days since that tweet, but
yeah,
it's crazy because those 3, because I remember even when that trade went down, I was like, damn, that's a big package, but it's they're just fucking
it's Juan Soto.
Really good. It is Juan Soto, but it's damn, those 2 are good. Insane that
it's just one of those things where obviously I don't want to say that it's good looking back at what the Padres did, but obviously at the time, I mean, that's a trade that you had to make.
Mm-hmm. In hindsight, obviously the Nationals are, they do that trade 100 times out of 100 because yes, it is essentially you got 2 Juan Sotos for 1. Not directly in profile. I know Abrams profiles really differently, but in terms of their production, at least this season, you literally have 2 guys that are at least in Juan Soto's ballpark. Wood and Soto are 2 points in WRC Plus apart for the season. Abrams is not far behind them. He's 11 points behind, 147 WRC Plus. He is that guy. Now, albeit Soto has, missed time, so, that's why there's, a big gap in WAR. Now, again, when you trade prospects, you don't know that these things are going to happen. So that obviously, the chances of this happening, I don't think anyone was betting on both of these guys turning this good. But hey, you got to give them credit because at the end of the day, that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to respect it. So who is your guy? So it's James Wood, eh?
Yeah, it was Wood.
I respect that. My guy, I had to go PCA. I have to respect what James Wood is doing. WRC Plus over 200 for the month. Slugged damn near 700. Abrams actually slugged 713 for the month. They were the 2 best hitters in the month of July. But I got to give it to PCA. He led the NL in WAR. He was the 3rd best hitter in the NL this month. A 181 WRC Plus. Obviously, we know the gap in WAR comes from elite defense, and he's a fantastic base runner as well. Those things in my opinion, just kind of edges out the other 2. But I mean, that's not to say that Wood or Abrams don't have a case. Obviously, those two are fucking incredible. And I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. Those two, the Nationals' whole offense as a whole, they've been fucking fantastic. I do want to give another shout out though. Ellie De La Cruz has been incredible this month.
Yeah,
he was third in the NL in WAR, 153 WRC plus. Really good, incredibly good. Drake Baldwin bounced back this month too. Gabby Moreno, Blue Jays legend. There's a lot of guys in the NL who are really good this month. Manny Machado, low-key, having had a bounce back month too, after not being very good for a lot of the first half.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. He's got his WRC plus over 100 now. He's now an above-average offensive player. So shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Not bad.
I guess I'll start pitcher of the month. I'll go in the AL. I had Sean Burke.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, there was a few guys that I was mulling over. This one was a little tough. I won't lie. There was a few guys I was mulling over. Part of me wanted to give it to Tarek Skubal. Part of me wanted to give it to Dylan Cease. But ultimately,
a big part of me wanted to give it to Cease.
Well, yeah, a big part of me, not a small part of me. Definitely a big part of me, because that is, I mean, no secret, that's my guy.
But I mean, it's just as good as Cease was. It's hard to argue with, a 165 FIP and a 114 ERA. Even though Cease has the ERA advantage there, he also outperformed his expected statistics more so than Sean Burke, who also ran a higher strikeout rate, significantly lower walk rate, or not significantly lower, but lower by a good amount.
Definitely significantly lower. 1.14 to 240. Yeah, that's definitely significant.
And home runs on a similar level too, per 9 there. But the one thing I'm looking at is just the fact that he ran a high strikeout rate, didn't walk many guys, didn't give up many runs, didn't really give up much of anything to anybody in that month.
No, nobody was touching him this month. He was second in the AL in FIP, only behind Tarek Skubal. He was second in the AL in expected FIP, only behind Gavin Williams. He was the best pitcher in the AL when it came to expected ERA. And the only pitchers whose actual ERA was better than him was Dylan Cease, who had the best ERA among all American League pitchers this month. Troy Melton, who was at 0.92, and Randy Dobnak at 104. So shout out to him. And he also led he was tied for the AL lead, in F4 among pitchers this month with Tarek Skubal and Cam Schlittler. It was actually a close race this month. I'm not going to lie. There's I think 5 guys you could realistically choose. Burke, Skubal, you could give it to Schlittler if you want. I think Cease is a good argument too.
Anything outside of that, you're getting a little crazy, but outside of those guys, but there are definitely a handful of guys that could have earned this award, and I know a lot of pitchers, they think about the awards they could win, and quite frankly, I think they'd rather win the down the line, monthly awards than an actual award.
Absolutely,
so, shout out Sean Burke because you're winning an award here, buddy.
Absolutely, major leaguers hit my phone all the time, and they're like, "Yo, what can I do to win this award?" Excuse me, and I'm like, "Yo, I just need you to lock in for the month. That's all I need. You know, lock in more."
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know what it'd be. Who do you got in the AL this month?
Sorry, say it again.
I said, who do you got in the AL this month for pitcher?
No, I said because I said Burke.
You said Burke as well. Sorry, I didn't realize you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't realize you were on agreement.
For the NL though, I've got. This one was a little harder. For me personally.
There was a lot of guys you could choose.
There's so many guys. One guy that I'm not going to give it to because his expected stats were unfortunately not his regular stats. And for an award that's not over a whole season, it's a 1-month thing, I find it hard to give. But Zach Wheeler had an insane month. He ran a K per 9 of near 16. His expected ERA at 186 with his ERA being 390 and xFIP being 115 and his FIP being 234. Definitely got unlucky. Hell of a month. I'm going to give it to Yuri Perez.
Yeah, that was who I had as well. Yuri Perez, I mean, in my opinion, I guess in both of our opinions, the best pitcher in the NL this month. Led the NL led all NL pitchers in F4, FIP, Only
And he did this with his strikeout rate being, noticeably down from his career average.
yeah,
It's usually hovering around 9.5 plus and that's on the more generous side.
yeah.
And he ran at 872 this month. So even
Compared
without the
compared to
elite
963 on
strikeout
the season.
numbers, yeah, instead of in spite of having a month with his lowest strikeout numbers of the year, for the most part, he still put a hell of a month on and shows that he doesn't need just strikeouts to be dominant. He can,
Absolutely.
pitch to contact and he can do everything else well and limit the amount of runners that come across to score. Sure, they can get on, but it doesn't matter if a guy gets on if they don't cross home.
Absolutely. And a good way to not allow anyone to cross home? Keep the ball in the ballpark. He didn't allow a single home run this month.
Yeah.
Only
one of only a handful of starters.
Only qualified NL starters who did so were him, Brandon Pfaadt, and Gabriel Hughes. That's it, of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, those are the three guys that you probably expect, right? I can't think of three guys, three more, other than Perez, Pfaadt and Hughes. I can't think of two guys who I would have thought would have not given up a home run other than them. Those are my two first guesses.
Absolutely. All my first guesses, especially pitching in Colorado.
Yeah.
I would expect that,
Yeah.
So we do.
That's like when Senzatella was putting up generational numbers in the first 2 months of the season.
Oh yeah, and then his next few months were just absolute dog.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Yeah. I do want to quickly, before we move on, shout out Jared Jones. He was also incredible this month.
Yes.
Obviously, on the season, he's coming back from a pretty big surgery. So shout out to him, bro. He was killing this month. He was pretty close to getting it for me, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just Yuri Perez barely edged him out. Pause. And when I say barely, I mean barely.
Yeah, it was close.
You could have flipped. You could have, if you chose Jared Jones, and I'm absolutely. You're right. You're right in both cases. Chris Sale, same thing. Honestly, barely. Yuri Perez barely edged them out. They were all incredible this month. You know what's really interesting?
What?
Paul Skeens ranked 6th among NL starters in F4 this month. Guess what his ERA was?
What was it this month? Was it 4 something?
5.53.
Was it going to be something like that? Yeah, I mean
5.53. Now, obviously, I know that ERA is not taken into consideration in the calculation. I know it's a lot more based around FIP, which is because Mark was 260, which was one of the best marks in the NL. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
There's that big of a difference. Obviously, I understand the why, but I just think it was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on, I guess, to our American League reliever of the month. I don't know about you, Ethan. I had Brent Hedrick of the New York Yankees. That guy.
Yeah, it was a two person race for me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, very dominant. And very apparently dominant. It's not like it was, you have to go under the hood and inspect the stats to see how he did. I mean, you look at any metric and it'll tell you he was elite this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's also my guy, who I picked.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be because Jordan Hicks had an absolutely absurd month, too. He didn't give up a single run, had a 14.7 K per 9, and expected ERA of 148, xFIP of 203 for an actual FIP of 119. 158 BABIP. It just seemed like he wasn't giving much of anything up except for walks, which is honestly the reason why I didn't give it to him. 4 walks per 9 is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you didn't give up a run, but when it comes down to who I'm picking between him or the guy who has very similar numbers, except he didn't walk, 4 guys per 9 innings.
Something has to break.
I'm gonna have to take yes. Yeah, I'm taking the guy who is way more efficient and honestly even put up better numbers despite giving up runs.
Really, the only number that he was worse in was ERA, and I think we all know how ERA is pretty, not that great of an evaluator for pitchers. There's a lot of things that aren't in their control that can affect that number. So, a lot of the things that are in his control, for example, when you look at FIP, that is a lot of things that are in a pitcher's control. Ability to not walk guys, keep the ball in the yard,
Exactly.
you know, throw strikes, all that kind of stuff. That
The
heavily...
three true outcomes.
Exactly. Literally, the three true outcomes, because that's what's the most in a hitter and pitcher's control.
Yep.
More than anything else. So, you know, he was by far the best pitcher in the AL in terms of FIP, 0.49. Nobody else had a sub-1. XFIP, same thing. ERA, the only guys who had a lower than him were the guys with 0. You know who one of those guys is, Ethan?
Who?
Spencer Miles.
Who is?
Shout out
Who
to
do you
him.
think? Oh, yeah, Spencer Miles, great pitcher.
Shout out Spencer Miles.
Rule 5 guy too, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, Rule 5 pick. Shout out to him. But yeah, no, Hedrick, he's like he's so good. He's insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You know what I think is really funny about the Yankees?
Yeah,
they will need bullpen help, right? And they'll go out and they'll get, you know, for example, last year they got like David Bednar, Camilo Doval, whoever. Who else did they get? They got Jake Bird. That's who else they got. And they'll have multiple guys that they get. Not even just, I'm talking about those guys. Like, it'll happen pretty, like, it feels like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
They'll go trade for someone, sign someone, and they'll just suck, right? But then they'll have fucking Jim in the third row come out. A
guy who they literally picked off waivers who wasn't good enough to make the Twins bullpen, by the way.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's just a demon. Like, absolute demon. Now, Hedrick, you know, he pitched a little bit last year, and he was good. Not nearly as much as this season. He pitched like 20 innings last year.
Yeah.
But, like, I swear to God, I feel like I haven't, like, looked at a sheet or anything with the players that would back this up. But I feel like this happens all the time with the Yankees. Like, they'll go out and get a big-name bullpen arm. They will suck, and then they'll just develop some random dude. You know, get some dude off waivers, call some random guy up from the minors who's, like, not projected to be that good, and then they're just, like, insane.
Yeah.
I feel like it always happens with them. Like, always.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, that's just what's so funny about this sport. I mean, some of the best players that, you know, in the league aren't guys, like, compared to other sports where it's, like, a lot of time, some of the best players, like, you know, the best players in the leagues were drafted first overall, whatever. But baseball is just full of guys coming from basically nowhere and just emerging as high-level guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of these relief pitchers in particular aren't, you know, touted as these huge like, it's rare that a relief pitcher is like a top prospect as a reliever, comes, like, works his way up and is just dominant. It's usually just a mixture of so many different things. So to see, you know, guys who get DFA'd, waived, let go in the Rule 5, stuff like that, make immediate impacts on the team, you know, it's awesome to see.
Absolutely.
It just goes to show that if you never give up and you just keep grinding and keep working on what's gotten you that far and you believe in yourself, the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
I might be cooked though. I'm 22 and I'm recording a podcast in my apartment, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, we are cooked. Yes.
Yeah, we're done. Like we're cooked.
I'd be in the league if it wasn't for the injury back in 2008.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, you know, bad back.
Got you. They got you, man. They got him.
Yeah.
I liked him too.
Have you watched the show or have you just seen the clips?
I saw that. For some reason, I haven't watched the second season. I watched the first season when it came out, and I really liked it. Like, I thought it was so good. Because I think the movies are so funny, and I thought the first season was hilarious. I don't know why I haven't watched the second season.
I don't think a season 3 is gonna happen. I think it's more likely it's a movie based off of, like, that timeline, because, like, apparently it just costs that much to make because of the CGI and stuff used.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But man, Seth MacFarlane is a genius. He is just a comedy genius.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. Thank God he slept in that day.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
All right. All right.
That's actually, like, one of the craziest things to think about. That, like, Family Guy, for example, wouldn't be what it is. We would never have had Ted. Like, so many things, like, had he just... It's just insane.
If he woke up on time.
It's just crazy how life works. I mean, it just really is.
It's crazy, man. It's great. That's a crazy butterfly effect. I mean, I know I've told you this,
Yeah.
but him sleeping in that day, direct butterfly effect, excuse me, to me listening to Olivia Rodrigo.
I mean, that's possible. How do you come to that? I'm just curious. Like, what makes you say that?
So the reason, so let me tell you, right? So they added Peter Griffin in Fortnite like 3.5, 4 years ago, or whatever, right?
Oh,
2.5 years,
yeah,
3 years ago, whatever. And that was the first time I played Fortnite in like years, right?
yeah,
And me and one of my friends we were playing with, we were taking a break, from like the main like battle royale, whatever, and we were going in festival, right? Which is,
yeah.
for those who don't know, that's basically like Fortnite's version of like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, or whatever. Also generational games, by the way. And one of the songs that was like randomly selected, I think, was Vampire, right? And so I'm doing it, and Vampire's playing in my ear, and I'm like, wait, this song's a fucking banger, right? I'm
Yeah,
feeling it.
valid.
I'm feeling it. I'm like, hold on, right?
So if Peter Griffin doesn't go into Fortnite, you don't really discover, at least not this soon, Olivia Rodrigo
Yeah,
and how much you enjoy her music.
absolutely. And that, I wouldn't be going in October, so that's my go.
The more you know.
Absolutely. And Guts would not be my most listened to album on my Spotify. So
That's crazy to think about, actually.
it's crazy to think about. She wouldn't have 3 of my top 4 listened to albums in my Spotify streaming.
Yeah.
She occupies the 1, 3, and 4 spots, by the way. For anyone who's curious, because I know everyone was wondering.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Reliever of the month, NL. I have a feeling another one. We have the same one. I don't know about you. Who do you got?
I see you. It's definitely close, as like for me for this one.
Oh.
I'm gonna give it to Mason Miller because it was just absolutely unreal. But Mason Montgomery is literally right there for me.
Yeah.
That's the month of the Masons.
Yeah, Mason Miller was the guy I chose. I think, ironically, Eric Miller of the Giants is also
Yeah.
up there. Didn't allow
That him
run all
too.
month.
Yeah. If your name was either Miller or Mason, then you were a great reliever this month.
Yeah, if your name was a MM alliteration or your last name was just Miller, you're up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Mason Miller. I mean, I don't think I need to even mention it. Like we all know how great Mason Miller is.
Yeah.
Like he was.
I mean, the stuff we say about him every single episode, it's the exact same stuff, just how good and dominant he is.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. I don't think that we honestly, since I started watching the sport like a little over a decade ago, I haven't seen a reliever this good.
Yeah.
And like, this is comfortably better than any reliever I've seen, since I started watching the sport.
Good thing he's not managed by Buck Showalter.
Oh my god. Could you imagine?
That would be something if like it was a situation like that and Mason Miller just never sees the mound. Like that would be the worst. That would be worse than Kevin Cash in the World Series. It would be worse than, well, I mean, it would be worse than obviously what happened with Britain, but it would just be crazy to see like Mason Miller, a guy who could pump 103 like it's nothing, and just literally get anybody out and make the greatest players, the greatest hitters ever look silly.
And that's crazy because Zach Britton was already like generationally good that year.
Yeah.
Like he was insane that year too. He didn't blow a save all year. I think his ERA was like 0.5. I don't know what his like sub metrics were. I haven't bothered to look, or I definitely have looked. I just don't remember. But
yeah, but I mean, just absolutely dominant, and then that's basically just what Mason Miller's been doing since he's gone to the league. So.
It's not even, you know what? It's not even just that it wasn't Zach Britton in the game. That's one thing. It's the fact that it was Ubaldo Jimenez, and he was terrible all season. Like he sucked.
Yeah,
he was awful that year. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even just the fact that it's like, you know what I mean? It's just mind-boggling. I just still can't believe it to this day. Like it's not like it was, they decided not to put him instead put in like their ace or like another shutdown reliever where it's like, okay, we really just want to save him for a save opportunity. And that's fine. I'd still disagree for the most part, but at least you'd have a thought process. No, it was Ubaldo Jimenez who good pitcher over. He had some good years. He had some good moments, but
But
that's
2016
not
Ubaldo was not
somebody.
it.
That's not a situation.
You know what's funnier?
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure you know this. I was at that game, right? And
Yeah.
I was like right behind the right field foul netting. So we're right next to the Orioles bullpen. There was a point not that long before all that stuff happened where Britton was warming up, right? So I think,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, he's going to come into the game soon. And then they sit him down. That's honestly the worst part of it. Is like you fully got him up, but he was throwing, not just like getting loose, stretching, whatever. Like he was throwing as if he was right about to come into the game, and then they sat him down at some point. I don't know if that was in.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the 11th because by the time the homer was hit, he was like nobody was warming up, or at least I don't think anyone was warming up. At least I can't remember. But at some point, like late in the game, 9th, maybe even the 10th inning, whatever, he was fully warming up, pitching. And then they said, "Nah, we're good. We don't need you, bro." I know Ubaldo got us. Hell no. Anyways, yeah, we don't. I don't think we really need to talk about Mason Miller stuff because we kind of do it all the time. We understand how great he is. We don't need to talk about it every episode.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about another guy though, who was definitely up there. Brandon Garcia of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was also insane. Second best FIP among all NL relievers behind, you guessed it, Mason Miller. One of the best relievers this month in terms of ERA. Ran a ridiculous strikeout rate, well over 12. One of the relievers who did not allow a home run this month's walk rate, just under 1.7. He was insane. He was really good this month. I just want to shout him out too because he deserves his respects, I think. But anyways, we'll move on to AL Rookie of the Month. I got Chase the Ladder.
So do I.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was he.
That's
was,
not really. Yeah.
He was by far the best hitting rookie in the AL. He was one of the best hitters in the AL. Period. This month, he was.
Yeah, 152 WRC plus. He had a WOBA of 386, OPS just under 900, ISO 200 on the dot, and the 311 average too with some good pop. So it's not like he was just a one-dimensional guy. He did literally pretty much everything.
Absolutely. He got on base, he for contact, he for power. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
He was great. He was overall just incredible.
Yeah.
I don't really think that he had like that much competition, to be honest with you either. Because like in the rookie department in the AL, like McGonigal was like he was good, but he wasn't insanely good. He had a 120 WRC plus. He was good, but definitely lagged.
He wasn't like overwhelmingly good.
Exactly. Like he definitely lagged behind the louder. Even if you want to talk about, I'm trying to think if there's any pitchers in the conversation. I don't really think there is, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really think so. I wouldn't say there's even any pitchers in the conversation.
None that could have the argument of being over him. I don't think.
No, none that are that close. There's definitely some that are good, of course. Like Parker Messick was good, but he wasn't that good to be considered in the conversation. I don't think.
Yeah.
So you had him too, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Who'd you have in the NL?
The NL I've got is Merlin Valdez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just absolutely insane. And despite only playing, like I said, 3 games in Toronto, the first 3 games of his major league career, he has more home runs in Toronto this year than Vlad does.
All right.
Also, funny thing I noticed today, Vlad and Tucker are making a combined like $90 million this year, and their F4 is a combined 1.7.
$90 million in respects to their WRC plus.
Yeah, I think it was like yeah, it was funny. It was a Dodgers guy, Blake Harris. I don't know if you, I assume you know who that is. He said something about, oh, don't look now, but Kyle Tucker's close to a 10 home run, 10 stolen base season.
I saw that. It's like he's on pace to, at this rate, he'll get it early September.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I saw that at work. I was laughing when I saw that. It was hilarious. Yeah, man. That's a rough one. But yeah, Valdez incredible, bro. He's on a heater.
Yeah.
One of the best hitters in the NL this month. 8th best, or I guess tied for 8th in the NL and WRC Plus this year. Only guys ahead of him. Obviously, the 3 nationals we mentioned earlier, Wood, Abrams, Garcia, PCA, Drake Baldwin, Nick Gonzalez, and Seiya Suzuki. He is ahead of guys like Ellie De La Cruz, Hunter Goodman, the reverse scores merchant, by the way. Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr., who has like ironically been like really good since he actually hit his first home run of the year. Freeman, a bunch of other guys who he's ahead of. I don't really think that anybody else is really in the convo like that. To be honest with you, I think this is one where it was pretty easy, at least for the rookie side of things. There were other guys who were good, but nobody was like this.
Yeah. But yeah, Esmeralda Valdez, I've been a fan of him for a couple of years now. I remember watching a home run derby, I believe it was, in like the fall league, like last year or whatever, and just listening to the sound of the his bat hitting the ball and just seeing him, the raw power he possessed, it was hard not to be like, okay, this guy is gonna be a fun player, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I didn't expect the emergence this fast, but like when you have bat to ball skills and you have raw power, you have it. That's not something that
that's a ridiculous combo. If you have insane bat to ball skills and you have insane bat speed, because his bat speed is almost 75 miles an hour, which Statcast would classify 75 as a fast swing. So almost every time he's getting a daddy hack all. He's taking daddy hacks.
And there's not many guys who barrel up balls as much as him.
Absolutely. Like, he right now has 14 home runs in 160 plate appearances. I'm going to do the math right now. I'm going to figure out what the full season, what is it? Full season mark for that is. Per 650 plate appearances, if you round to the nearest whole number, 57 homers. That's the pace.
This is a rookie.
He's insane. He's absolutely killing it right now. Another, piece of a insanely good Pirates offense this year. Obviously, this is...
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I was having this conversation. Like, it's crazy to think that, like, imagine being told a couple months ago when we were doing, like, our season predictions, like, our preseason predictions, like, yeah, the Pirates are going to be a very good team. They're going to be a couple games over 500. They're going to be looking really good. But it's because they have, like, a top 3 offense in baseball, and their pitching has been below average.
Yeah, this would not be the reason. Because I think even what we said before the season started was, like, they're going to have a really good pitching staff. Like, they're just going to. They've done it the last few years. And really, they only need that offense to be, like, average. And they'll be good, right? And that was all they needed. They needed, like, maybe 15th in WRC Plus or 15th in runs scored or whatever. Realistically, all they needed, because they were, like, dead last or, like, pretty close to dead last the year before. And we even said, like, just based on then, and keep in mind, this is before we're factoring in, like, a Valdez, right? We factored in a bunch of guys, and it was like, you could have, like, 6 above-average hitters in this lineup next year. Like, 6 guys who are, like, 115 WRC Plus. And, they have some guys who are more than that. Now you add Valdez into the mix, who's basically coming in and he's looking like fucking prime Nelson Cruz, like, just absolutely killing it. Not even, sorry, I know I said he takes daddy hacks, right? Obviously that's true. The other part is, he doesn't fucking chase. Right? Yeah. The big problem with a lot of guys, right? A very bad combo is if you whiff a lot and you chase a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Well, chasing a lot in general is bad. If you whiff, you're just, nobody's going to give you anything to hit. And if you chase a lot and make contact, then, it's a bunch of weak contact and doesn't matter, right? He gets his A swing off every time. You can see it in the bat speed. You can even see it in the whiff rate. His whiff rate's almost 40%, which is admittedly a little bit concerning. But, like, if you're not chasing, you're swinging at, like, your A pitch and you're getting your A swing off every time and you're producing, like, I respect it, That's objectively a good outcome. I'm not going to say that he's nearly on the level of, like, a Juan Soto or anything. Obviously not. But, like, you don't see this a lot from someone with this little major league experience.
He's a very matured hitter for such a inexperienced major league guy.
Absolutely. We talk a lot on this show about, like, swing decisions, right? And how important that stuff is. And there's a reason, right?
Yeah.
If you're swinging at a bunch of bullshit, right, it's going to be a lot harder for you to, do damage and, hit those homers and hit doubles and even hit singles even, right? Like, it's hard to do that.
Yeah. One prime example that I feel like you can use for something like that is a guy like Javier Baez, where the thing with him is that he was never, known for, walking a lot, not striking out a lot. But as his career kept going, he kept swinging at worse and worse pitches. And it's to the point where pitchers know they don't have to throw him anything near the zone because he'll still probably swing and miss. And that's a terrible problem to have because
Absolutely.
Once pitchers figure that out, which clearly won't take that long for in a situation like that, then that's when more problems arise because then you're trying to force stuff to happen because they're not happening naturally. And once you're in the box trying to force something, that's when you lose all the mental advantage you could have had in that bat. When you're overthinking and you're getting in your head because of whatever, because they're the way you're being pitched to. So
absolutely, I think Baez is like a really good example of that point, right? Like he was known for being a pretty, a free swinger when he was with the Cubs. Like, everybody knew that. It was no secret, right? His chase rates typically were in like the low 40s, right? Which is really fucking high. But ever since he went to Detroit, it for the most part has been higher, right? His worst season in terms of chase rate before going to Detroit was 2021. It was 44.6%. Now, obviously, he split that with the Mets, whatever. Since going to Detroit, he has had 3 seasons above 46%. This season, it is 49.4%, which means he is chasing nearly half the time.
Which is crazy.
That's, like...
just absolutely insane to think about.
Like, and...
this stat where it's like Barry Bonds without a bat and his like what is I wonder what his OPS would be if he didn't have a bat. It can't be lower. There's no way it could be lower.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I remember that. I remember watching that video years ago. Oh, great, fun, fucking fantastic video.
I've watched it at least 3 times.
Great video, absolutely fantastic. But like, this is the kind of player like number one, when they have that kind of problem that they chase a lot. Some guys are able to get away with it, like they're able to just fight something off, or they're able to just, whatever. Those guys are the exception as opposed to the rule, right?
Yes.
Like, nothing else, right? Like, I saw Ernie Clement hit a home run in Yankee Stadium on a pitch below the zone. I'm like, yeah, all right, man. I mean, good, but like, whatever, bro.
That's not... hitting home runs on those pitches are very unsustainable.
Absolutely. Like, I wouldn't encourage him to keep swinging at that same pitch, right? At the end of the day...
Whereas if it's a guy like Judge, he's an exception because he can get to pitches that...
absolutely.
And hit out that not anyone really can.
Absolutely. Exactly. But Judge is more like... he's so on the extreme side of just fucking... well, okay. He's
a freak of nature.
You can just straight up argue he's the best right-handed hitter ever. So... it's that kind of thing, right? For a majority of major league players, you don't want them swinging at that pitch because they're either going to do one of two things. They're going to whiff on it, or they're going to, if they do make contact, it's going to be like a weak chopper. Like if it's a pitch below the zone, changeup, slider, or curveball, whatever. It's going to be a weak chopper, back to the pitcher, over to the shortstop, second baseman, whatever. That's it, right? Or they just whiff. And neither of those are a good outcome. You're very rarely going to get good outcomes on those. So when you do that as often as someone like Javier Baez, pitchers aren't going to throw you shit. Now, to be fair, his overall results this year have been fine. Granted, he's barely played because he's been on the IL for a good chunk of the season. He's back now, but, for the most part, like, pitchers, they know the book on him. They know the book on him. And when you are able to take a lot of that stuff away from a pitcher, when you can take away that low and away breaking ball, and you can say, all right, you got to come to me. I'm not coming to you. That's when you're able to really get on the driver's seat in an at-bat, and that's when you're able to, you do one of two things. Either they keep pitching that to you, and you say, all right, I'm going to go take my base, right? Because that's what a lot of the great hitters in this league do, the Sotos of the world, Or they're going to come to you, and if you are good enough, you are going to make them pay for it. Whether it's just, a standard just base hit, single, you hit a double, or you take them deep.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's another example of when, process matters so much because you could be getting results. It doesn't mean you're always going to be getting those results.
Absolutely.
I'm trusting someone who has an incredible approach with not great numbers because they're getting unlucky than a guy who has a terrible approach, but for 1 year or for a couple months span, it's been working.
Absolutely. That's why teams will, that's why teams will preach certain things, right? That was why when the CJ Abrams video like from the All-Star break came out, when he said, I look at my chase rate a lot, I'm like, okay, I understand
Yeah.
why the Nats hitting is so good this year.
Yeah.
Because I can tell.
Because they're focusing on the things that really matter.
Exactly.
They're not like, that's not to say that other stuff don't matter. Like, average obviously does matter in the grand scheme of things, because at the end of the day, you do want your players to be getting hits.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, batting average isn't something that you can really work on. It's not like you can just sit down with a coach and it's like, hey, let's get my batting average up, because that's out of your control, because different things need to go right. But you can sit down and say, I want to lower my chase rate. I don't want to swing, like, I don't want to chase as many pitches. That's something you could sit down with a coach, talk about, and actually work on, because that is in your control. You can choose not to swing at pitches out of the zone, whereas you can't just, it's not like you say, hey, I want to get a hit, so you get one. You know what I mean? You actually have to get the hit.
Absolutely. And that's why when you see teams and players, refine their process and, they chase less and whatever else, that's when you see a lot of their results get better. The big example that I love to use, I'm not going to harp on it too much, is the 2024 Blue Jays and the 2025 Blue Jays. A big part of the reason that their offense was so good last year was because they stopped swinging bullshit. Now, in 2026, they decided, hey, let's start swinging at bullshit again. But in 2025, they weren't swinging at bullshit. And that's why, like, Springer was so good. And a lot of other guys were insanely good because they did not chase nearly as much as the team. They got their A swing off. You know what I mean? They said, I'm going to go up to the plate and I'm going to go big or I'm going to go home. Right? Like, I'm not gonna bail you out and swing at the slider, a couple, like, 5 inches out of the zone and just hit a weak tapper. That's not how you win ball games. That's how you give the other team free outs. It's like a certain former MVP once said, right? In the big leagues, those things that they call ground balls are outs.
Yeah.
Right? They pay you for doubles. They pay you for homers. Shadow. I think that's a legendary thing. I
agree. Yeah.
Obviously there's.
Have you seen what he's been up to? What Donaldson's been doing?
What particular are you speaking of?
I've seen him, like, going to random, like, just dropping in a random, like men's league games and stuff, wearing, like, full Jays uniforms.
Yeah, I saw that. He pulled up to one in, like, the video that everyone was posting. I don't remember where it was.
Yeah.
But he pulls up and he fucking takes someone deep. I think it's so funny.
It's awesome. I love how much he loves the city and the team still, like, even despite only being there for, a relatively short amount of time, and it being so long removed. Like, it's been, it's not like it was just like last year or something. Yeah, it's been a while.
He's been gone since 2018, and he spent 3.5 years there. Like, he spent more time with the Athletics.
Yeah.
Like, overall, actually, technically, I don't know, because the major league time might not overlap, but you know what I mean? He was
in the organization longer, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And, like, he wasn't with us, like, that much longer than the Twins or Yankees, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's only, like, an extra year or something like that.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Shout out to JD. I do be seeing that, though. And obviously I be seeing all, like, the podcast stuff that he does with Russell Martin. You said they got Kershaw on for an episode.
Yes, a recent one.
Yeah. Was it the last one they did? Or maybe it was the one before. I don't remember, but...
it was one of the more...
It was recent, because I remember seeing it, and it was like, oh my god, they got Kershaw. That's sick. But yeah. Okay, I think we will move on to our next order of business. So.
Yes.
We have some trades. We have 2 trades we want to talk about. Which one do you want to start with?
We could start with the Minter one. Just happened.
Okay, yeah, it happened last night. Literally, like, just last night. We were in the VC. It was me, Steven, Nick, and Justin. We were talking about the movie because, like, I think 3. I don't know if Steven saw it yesterday too, but me, Justin, Nick, we all saw it yesterday. At varying times, obviously, but we were breaking it down, and then Steven's like, "Yo, Nick." Not me, Nick. Other Nick who was in the call. For those who don't know. He's like, yo, A.J. Minter's got traded to the Twins. And we're like, oh, shit. So, yeah. Ethan, what was the trade? Read it out for the people.
So, the Twins acquire A.J. Minter, and going back to the Mets is infielder Billy Amick and infielder Bruin Agbayani.
So, Minter was a guy who, I think we talked about him when we did the predicting the trade stuff, I think.
Yeah, and that is number 21 and number 29
Mhm.
prospects from the Twins, respectively.
Yeah, so you look at the Twins. I mean, it's the low end of your top 30. I mean, doesn't it's not really that crazy. Minter is good. Minter is objectively pretty good. He's not perfect. You know what I mean? He's not like a
Yeah.
top reliever. He's not as good as he has been in the past. His
You
strikeouts,
know
he's
the expression, right?
yeah,
You get what you pay for. This return isn't like elite reliever return. It's about what you'd expect from this caliber in this market.
absolutely. Um, the big thing with Minter this season is that he's not walking anybody. Not to say that he was like a 5-6 walk per nine reliever before. Like he was never that. But he was never like this low, besides like the 1 year in 22 where he was like just insane, where it was like sub two. Um, he's always been a big strikeout guy. His strikeouts are down. His home runs are a little bit up this year. So you look under the hood and it's like he's solid, but he's not like shut down just absolute nails.
Yeah.
But he objectively he's been a positive for this year. And the big thing that this tells us, because a lot of people, including ourselves, I would say, didn't know exactly where the Twins were going to go. They could kind of go in either direction depending on what they wanted to do. Granted, they've been
Yeah.
better in recent weeks and months and stuff. To the point where, as it stands right now, they are a game out of a playoff spot. They are 55-55. They're a game back of Cleveland for that wild card spot. Are they winning today? Oh, they haven't played yet. They play at 10. So they are clearly trying to go in a buyer's direction. How extreme they try to go in that direction, I have no idea. Who knows? I think everybody knows where I stand, at least on the direction I think the Twins should go.
Yeah.
But this tells us the direction that they will go. So they're obviously going to be in on other rentals, right? Because that's what Minter is. He's a rental. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. If he's an objective plus that bullpen. But is it like, do you think that they'd be in on some of the higher end guys? Not necessarily like, are they going to be in the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes? Because like we would know that by now if they were going to. But like, are they going to maybe try to shoot a little bit higher? Who knows? Maybe get,
I think they will shoot higher. I just don't think it's gonna come at the cost of one of their top prospects. Like they're not gonna be that hard of buyers in my eyes. Like you know what I mean? Like they could want to buy all they want, but they're not trading Emmanuel Rodriguez. They're not trading Walker Jenkins. They're not trading Merrick Houston, and they're not trading Culpepper. And it's like that in itself tells me that they're not going to be able to get one of the big fish because it would be stupid to do that. I'm not saying that they should be trading those guys.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should. I don't think
So that's why I hope that they don't do that. And they do have some, expendable guys, whether it's on the roster currently or in the prospect pool, but they have guys that they can move. They could definitely make a play for some bigger names, but I definitely think that it would be wise to kind of not just, not have a decent prospect pool and just say, hey, you know what, we're just going to tear it apart to hopefully make the ALCS or something this year.
Yeah, because the thing is, if they want to be good, which clearly, judging by this trade, like they want to, like this is an objective improvement to their bullpen, they need fucking pitching. Their pitching sucks.
Yeah.
It's no secret. They rank 22nd in rotation ERA and 25th in bullpen ERA overall. Right? Sorry. They ranked 26th in bullpen ERA, 25th in overall earned run average. That's my bad. But yeah, that's where they rank in both. Like their rotation sucks and their bullpen sucks. I don't think anybody needed me to tell them that because I think everybody knows it, right? It's not really a secret that their pitching is kind of shit. Like really, you are running out like two.
Like where would they be if they had Duran and Varland or even one of them?
Right? Like realistically, in your rotation, you have run out 6 guys this season who have given you double-digit starts, right?
Yeah.
Only like 2 of those guys have been good. One of those guys isn't even on the team anymore. Simeon Richardson is literally not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's gone. And understandably so. He was pretty bad. But like Taj Bradley and Joe Ryan have been your 2 good starters this season. Andrew Morris has been, he's been a spot starter at times this season. And by at times, I only mean like only a couple times. And I don't really think that he has the sauce to, go into the rotation unless they want to start doing that. He's pitched a couple like 2-inning outings, the odd spot start where he pitches like 3-4 innings here. Ironically, I think those might have been both against us, if I remember. Maybe not. I don't know. But like, regardless, however you want to slice it, you have two good pitchers in your rotation. You have some guys who are okay. Bailey Ober's like a serviceable middle end arm, but you need guys who are like good, right? Again, I'm not saying you go in for a Tarek Skubal. I don't really know who the name would be off the top of my head. I haven't really thought about it in their case, but like you need something there, and then
a guy like Robbie Ray could make sense.
Yeah, ironically, yeah, like a low risk, high ceiling guy. Like if he keeps up his results, he's going to be good for them. But,
I mean, that's the kind of move that you're setting up to make, because it's not going to cost you. I can't see it costing you a top 5 or 10 prospect in your org, and if it is a top 10, you're also getting something else in return.
Absolutely,
I think you can get it for a relatively, obviously a little more than Minter because he's a starter, but I really don't think it's going to be like nearly as much as what people think he's going to cost.
No, because Robbie Ray's underlying stuff isn't really that great for the season. Plus, you have to take on the remainder of his money for the season, which again, I don't think is that big of a deal, but it's going to play a factor, whether we think it should or not. But that's someone who I think could fit the team pretty well if that's the direction that they're going to go in, which, it seems that they are.
Yeah.
Could help just, potentially stabilize the rotation. Again, it's low risk because he's not going to cost you much. If he keeps his results, great. He's like what's his ERA right now? Like probably low to mid 3s, right? Something like that. I don't know.
Robbie Ray?
Yeah. Last time I checked, it was like
330. Yeah, he's at 308 right now.
308, exactly. Yeah, last time I checked, it was 330, so it's gone down. So, that's where it is. They do need to be in on bullpen guys too, which Minter is good, but he's not going to fix your bullpen. You have like.
That's a little band-aid. Like, it'll help
exactly.
you. It'll help you, but it's not gonna, like, it's like if you have a deep cut and you use a band-aid. It's gonna stop the bleeding. It's definitely gonna make it so you're not gonna be, bleeding out, getting infections, which I don't know why I'm getting graphic here, but it's not the solution. It's not gonna magically heal the wound itself.
Absolutely.
And obviously that's kind of what this is. It's not gonna make this an elite bullpen, but it's definitely helping the bullpen a lot, and it's going to help the team a lot. So
absolutely, you have a few guys in the bullpen who are who have been good this season. Yoendrys Rodriguez has been good for you this year. Andrew Morris, who I was talking about earlier, if you want to make him a spot starter or whatever, could potentially be a guy for you out of the pen.
Yeah,
but like. Beyond that, it's like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It doesn't really look that great.
It's definitely a little bleak there.
Like it's absolutely bleak. Unbelievably bleak. I can't lie. That's why, again, they kind of need to lock the fuck in. Otherwise, it's kind of rough,
Yeah.
So... whoever those ends up being, maybe they're in on someone like a Luke Weaver. I don't think they would be. I think that'd be more rental market. So I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing there. You want to move on to the other trade? Because I think this one's a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
So this other one, this is like the first like major one around the deadline ish. This broke, I think honestly like a day or two after we made the last episode. I think. So the Boston Red Sox traded Connolly early to the Washington Nationals for Curtis Mead. And you sent me this, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, very interesting trade.
So, I wouldn't say anyone got fleeced. I've seen people say, oh yeah, the Red Sox, Mead's so much better, early's not good, or I've seen people say, the Nationals finesse because blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's either one of those. I think this trade is relatively win-win. But it was very interesting. I just wasn't expecting this because, so Curtis Mead, before this season, he has not been he hasn't been a guy. You know what I mean? He has not been one of those guys. This season, obviously, he's been a lot better. 851 OPS, slugging just under 500. He's been really good. There have been noticeable changes in his process. His launch angle is a lot more optimized. He doesn't chase as much. You know what I mean? And that's resulted in things like more barrels. He's been pulling the ball a lot more this season, especially in the air. Those kinds of things, I think, have led to a lot more success for him. Which makes me believe that, yeah, it's real. So I think where you stand on this trade, I think it mostly depends on two things. Number one, where do you stand on whether or not you think... where do you stand on Curtis Mead's breakout? And where do you stand on Connolly Early? Because I've seen a lot of... Ever since this trade dropped, I've seen a lot of varying opinions on Connolly Early.
Yeah, obviously it's unfortunate that, Mead's already hurt and probably out for a bit. I don't know when he's supposed to
Early
return, but I would say the end of the season if he does.
They're projecting Early to be back in late August.
Yeah.
That's when they're projecting him to be back.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate. But it really, the thing for me is I don't think that Mead's bad by any means. I think he's a good player. However, with the injuries that the Boston has had to their pitching and, the struggles of some of that bullpen, I'm not going to say the whole bullpen, but, pitching has been something that the Red Sox the pitching is something the Red Sox can really use. The bullpen, aside from, three guys, has not been, elite, which obviously not everyone's going to be elite, but that's kind of where you want, starter depth with the injuries. You have guys like Crochet, who's been out for pretty much the whole year. You have guys like Houck, Oviedo, and Cutter Crawford, who, have been out. Oviedo's been out all year, and Crawford and Houck have been more recent. Actually, no, Houck was last year, wasn't it? Never mind. But yeah, they've been without Houck the whole year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, I'm looking at 25. I'm stupid. So yeah, those guys have been out for a long term.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
I was like, wait a second. Yeah,
I know Oviedo was pitched this year. Not very much. I think he went back on the IL.
But that's another thing. Pitching is something that they kind of need, and they just have a lot of guys who can play that position that Mead can. And that's not to say they're better than Mead, but it's just also kind of, not the best asset management. Why are you getting some of these guys when they're not, you know what I mean? Jared Duran, keeping him and him not being traded a couple years ago is crazy. On top of that, you have guys that play a similar role to him in terms of, similar production. And it's just, I don't, there's some guys that look at it, it's like, what do they do for this team? What is Romy Gonzalez doing for this team? Right? What is Nick Sogard doing for the most part? And it's just, Mead is obviously better than these guys, but when pitching has been a problem, what's the answer going to be for pitching? What are they going to do for pitching? What's their solution? I have to ask.
I think that the argument is a couple of things. Number one, everyone, I think, can agree that the Boston Red Sox, on the offensive side of the ball, they need power, right? They really need power. They are 28th in home runs this year. Their overall offense has been, not really that good. Everybody knows that they just need someone who can hit, right? And Mead is, if you believe in his breakout this year, that he is, around a 130 WRC plus true talent with all the adjustments that he's made, then objectively he's a big boost. I mean, the guy's rocking a near 250 ISO this year. Would have probably been around a 25 homer guy if he didn't get injured, literally right after appearing for the Red Sox, which I think is, by the way, ridiculously unfortunate. But yeah. And the other argument, I'm sure, is this, right? If you're the Red Sox and you're looking at your pitching, right? Obviously, I'm not factoring Early into this because he's currently injured. For 2026, I'm removing Garrett Crochet from this hypothetical because there's honestly a decent chance. I don't think he's going to pitch again this season. I think there's a very good chance that he doesn't. Because they don't even have a timeline for when he's going to start his throwing program, and it's fucking August almost. Like, I think he's cooked for the year. For 2026, right? You have Sonny Gray. You have Ranger Suarez. You have Peyton Tolley, and then Jake Bennett, the emergence of Jake Bennett, right? That's 4 guys for you this year who have been really fucking good. Not to say that early also hasn't been really good, right? But what I'm suggesting here is that the Red Sox have, like, it's a very basic principle of just trading from your strengths, right? Not to say that depth isn't a good thing to have, or, you know, everyone knows you can never have too much pitching, right? I agree with both of those things. But if the Red Sox want to be good this year, which, I mean, they have catapulted themselves in more recently into this conversation of, okay, they're one of the better teams in the AL right now. They're only 2 games behind the Yankees. I mean, they're in the wild card spot right now. They're like comfortably above 500 right now. They put themselves in that conversation, right? They need to make their offense better. I think that's a big thing, right? They've been hitting ever since they got hot, but also, I'm sorry, there was 3.5 months where you were not hitting.
Exactly.
Like, we're not hitting at all. Even with, so this month they are 5th in the league in WRC plus, right? 7th in runs scored. With that being taken into account, like I said before, they still ranked 24th in runs scored, right? And they rank 21st in WRC plus, and they rank 28th in homers. Despite all of that, despite the fact their offense has been noticeably better since they got hot, you know, obviously the two things are going to correlate. I am not going to sit here and say that, you know, you should just be like, yeah, everything is going to keep going smoothly, and it's because given how the season started, their July was a 100th percentile outcome. You cannot bank on a 100 percentile outcome. You cannot bank on that. I think you need to make that better. The reason I say that this is interesting is number one, I think it's kind of, I'm surprised that they traded someone like early for somebody who has, it's really early in Curtis Mead's breakout, right?
No pun intended.
Yeah, it is. Like it's very early in his breakout. So I feel like I was surprised that they traded someone like early for him. You know what I mean? Because early he's really young. You know, the under the hood stuff this year isn't perfect, but also he's 24. You know what I mean? Really, the only thing is he kind of has a home run problem this year. The walks and home runs is in a solid spot, right? And these are things that in the minor leagues he was a insanely good strikeout pitcher in the minors. Like he was doing it down there, right? So I think that a lot of that is like really nice, and plus again you have him through 2031, right? So you have him for, what is that, another 5 years after this? 6 years? I don't what's the math? 5 years? Something like that?
5,
Yeah. Like, under full team control. That's what I think is interesting, is because you're trading someone like that for somebody guy who's... I believe that this is sustainable, because a lot of the process-related stuff is very positive right now for Curtis Mead, right? But at the same time, I'm like, it's less than a 90-game sample size right now, right? So I'm like, damn. I'm not saying they jumped the gun, because I don't think that this is a fake breakout. But I'm like, damn, I'm surprised you guys did it this quick. You know what I mean? And for that reason, I do, like I said, I do like it for the Red Sox, because again, it's not like, you know, Mead's not controllable, right? He's under team control through 2030. The main thing is that, do you project him to be at third base the whole time? Because he's not really a good defender there. I don't know if eventually they want to move him to first, although you can argue he's debated. You know, you can argue he's probably worse at first base, to be honest. But like I don't know. But I do like it for the Nationals because I do kind of believe in Connolly early, right? Not everything is super pretty. People are gonna look at the Savant stuff and they're gonna see a lot of blue circles, and they're gonna go, "Oh, this guy's really not that great." Again, the guy's 24. There's a lot of, I think, positive things to like about him. He has an above average strikeout rate, an above average chase rate. Those things are, a very good starting point, and he has an above average ground ball rate, right? He just needs to figure out a way to, get the home run problem out. I don't know exactly what the solution to that is off the top of my head. Maybe it's mixing up the arsenal. Maybe it's trying to gain some velo on the fastball. Maybe it's a new pitch. Maybe you ditch something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is off the top of my head. But this is I think I think Early has a pretty good future ahead of him. And we've said, ever since the Nationals have, been more or less in wildcard contention. I mean, I think they're in a spot right now, are they not? Oh, never mind, they don't. They're 2.5 games back. Since they've been more or less in wildcard contention, we've been if they want to be good, they need pitching, right? That's what they need. Because their pitching isn't good. They have one of the best offenses in the league. And again, this is both sides kind of trading from a strength of theirs, right? Nationals are taking one of their really good hitters, trading him for a pitcher who they believe in, and the Red Sox are doing the same thing. They're trading a pitcher, a young, controllable starter, who, granted, they have a really good rotation, right? And they're trading him for something that fills a hole that they need, because they need power, right? I think it's kind of a win-win. I'd probably give a slight edge to the Nationals, but at the same time, I think this is a win-win. I think this is a good trade.
I agree.
I told my friend.
I agree.
I told one of my friends. I told Sam, who was with us last week. I think I was in bed when the news broke. I got the notification, scrolling my phone in bed. I hit him in the group chat. I go, "Yo, Red Sox traded Connolly early," and I told him the trade, and he's like, "Am I crazy, or did the Nats finesse?" And again, I wouldn't say they finessed, because I think Mead's really fucking good, but I also think Early's gonna be really good. So I don't know. That's where I stand. That's why I said this is a really interesting one. I think that's literally exactly what I told you. I was like, it's a very interesting move when you sent me the tweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to think about there. I don't think that there is a clear winner. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone got.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fleece like people are saying. It's one of those things where you just have to wait it out, because both guys can be key contributors for their respective new teams. So it's not like this is, guaranteed for either team to make out like bandits. But I mean, the Red Sox add much needed power to their lineup when he's healthy, and the Nationals are beefing up their rotation. So I could understand both sides of the trade. And in terms of value, I don't know how much more they would have been able to get for each other had they traded for them without doing that 1-for-1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it would have costed a lot, if they want to trade prospects for Mead or prospects for Early, I don't know the prices. So I don't know. I feel like the fact that they got the 1-for-1 swap as well it works in both teams' favor.
Mm-hmm.
It helps them out, and it's just quick, easy business.
Yeah, both players are still relatively young. They were both pretty they were both good ranked prospects and stuff. I think the big thing that is just that Mead struggled his first few years. That's really the big thing. Again, it all hinges, I think, on how much you believe in Curtis Mead's breakout. I know that and before I say this, I'm very aware as to how not great this model is, but I looked at it because I was curious. Actually, no, I think it came up on my timeline. Around the time when the trade happened, the baseball trade values thing, and they said it was a major overpay from Boston, and I'm like, I mean, I don't think it's that far off from in terms of those two. I don't think they're that far off in value, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other thing also is that even if Connolly Early isn't right now, he's sitting at a 3.44 ERA, right? Again, because of his home run problem, his FIP and his other stuff doesn't look as great. Let's assume that he's just a 4 ERA pitcher for his whole time at the Nats. That's what? A 4 starter? Right?
Yeah.
If you that's another 5 seasons, 6 seasons, whatever, of a really, like, just solid rotation arm. That's good value no matter how you want to slice it. Like, that's objectively really good. That's a very valuable thing to have. And he could be better than that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the jury's still out on him, so it's not like this is the final product that you're going to see. He could very well polish the game and come back and be even better.
Absolutely.
So.
The guy doesn't even have a full year of service time under his belt. I think it's kind of early to say that the guy's not very good, you know what I mean? As long as he comes back from the elbow injury, which, again, I mean, it's not like a major thing. He's going to be back, they're saying, by the end of August, so it's not like he's getting Tommy John or anything. He should be, like, he should be fine, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think interesting move. Obviously, in the coming years, we will see how it plays out. Hopefully, Early doesn't pull a Curtis Mead and get injured in, like, his first outing with the Nationals. That would be fucking tragic. But yeah, you know, pretty interesting move. There's a lot to talk about with this move. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the more interesting moves of the deadline. So
yeah, don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I mean, obviously, we don't know what the future holds. Yeah. We only know so much. So
maybe not the most noteworthy, but
that's Michael Wacha, obviously.
Yeah, that's Michael Wacha going to the Orioles. But the most, you know, I think might honestly have the most interesting discussion surrounding it will be this one. I think there's a very decent chance that ends up being the case.
Also, what was still in the Red Sox, there was something that I saw that I found very interesting that somebody pointed out. So I'm not sure if you saw by chance the Jarren Duran stuff from yesterday about when, I'm not sure who it was at third base, but he hit a fly ball to shallow left, and he was pissed that the guy didn't tag up.
What?
How did you by chance see it?
No, I didn't. Wait.
Here, so hold on. So obviously, I'll stream it. So here's him getting mad at it.
Okay. Wait, let's see this because I don't remember hearing anything about this.
His last night.
That is so shallow. What is he gonna do?
And look at the throw, right?
It's Wilson Contreras on third base. What do you think is gonna happen?
He's pissed, right? Someone said Usain Bolt is out by 10 feet if he tags up. And obviously it's like it's an overreact. Like, you know, it's like a really. I did the math. So his fastest time from 0 to 30, which is 98 feet, is 3.78. Using that average, that is 27.5, which is 90 feet, is 3.46 seconds. So let's imply that the catcher is squared up because the throw is on, like, because the runner's going, so the catcher's actually ready for a tag. Here is overlaying his 0 to 30 time. Usain Bolt. Here's how. Here it is. He would have about 3.44 seconds to score. That's Contreras. Usain Bolt in 2008 would not have beaten that out.
Yeah, that's ridiculously shallow. Like, the shortstop could have caught that, maybe.
Yeah.
If the shortstop ran out, he could have caught that ball. And it's fucking
if they were playing like to the fringe of the outfield grass, they could 100% make that play.
Mm-hmm.
And Duran's pissed that I don't know, like, that one I don't understand. Usain Bolt's up doing it. But I saw a funny thing showing his stats saying how his OPS was 390, or in June was 395, and his WRC plus was -1. And somebody being Johnny said the month of June was rough for Duran for multiple reasons.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, we know what that guy be saying. He do be saying shit. Jarren Duran do just be saying shit, honestly.
Yeah. I'm
looking at this now because I went to his page. I went to his page on the Score app to go see what was happening. He's and I see this article that says Duran explains emotional outburst after failed sac fly, and the quote is, "I fucking suck."
Dude, I love that.
That is definitely something. I did see something while I was at work today. It's actually related to Duran. It wasn't this.
Yeah.
Honestly, actually, it might have been like a quote tweet to one of those things, which I think is really funny. If I missed that, oh no, it's
Yeah.
not. So this was tweeted 8 hours ago. This is tweeted at 1 o'clock. So there have been 800, and this is from at baseball world _ on Twitter, by the way. It reads, there have been 856 seasons in Red Sox history where a player has had at least 400 plate appearances. Again, 856 seasons, by the way. The 2026 Jarren Duran's ranks among them. Batting average, 856th at 195. On base percentage, 854th at 252. Strikeout percentage, 850th at 29.6. OPS, 830th at 589. And WRC Plus, 850th at 58.
Is that good?
Some, if you disregard like the top 849 Red Sox like seasons in history, like by players, I think you can argue that,
Yeah. Oh, we also forgot a trade because we said there was two, but there was actually another one we forgot.
Oh, what was the other one we forgot?
Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth to the Rangers for Angel Hernando.
I kind of forgot about that trade. I'm not gonna lie. I saw someone I saw somebody quote tweet that and say, "How do you?" It was related to O'Hoppe, and this was before I think they announced that that they were gonna option O'Hoppe.
Yeah.
Someone said, "How do you buy and get worse?"
Yeah. I mean, I saw someone posted his Savant page, Logan O'Hoppe, and it says, "This is certainly a baseball player, no doubt about it." And the replies are so funny. Like I said, he definitely has a contract that allows him to be part of an organization. Someone said he's got a uniform and everything.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's not a secret. O'Hoppe's not.
He wears a hat.
He does. A team does employ him to put on a baseball glove and pick up a baseball bat.
Don't let this distract you from the fact that he is noticeably better offensively this year than Austin Wells. So,
which says a lot about how bad Austin Wells has been this year, or
how good Logan O'Hoppe is. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Well, if you want to look at it that way, O'Hoppe is like a 0.1 F off from being a one loss above replacement player.
Yeah. I mean,
it's rough.
It's also gone to the point with some players like I don't know if you saw the Meek Phil tweet yesterday. Did you?
Let me look this up.
It was about Polanco.
Let me see. I don't remember seeing anything. I know I follow him on Twitter.
So it was Anthony DeComo saying, since coming off the injured list, Jorge Polanco is slashing 091, 130, 114 with a 244 OPS in 13 games. And then Meek Phil says, I post Lou Gehrig's stat line with ALS. Battling That's like one of the craziest things. Like, again, I always talk about this because of how I am so upset I can't find it because I think it's long deleted. But the one guy in the Orioles mentions who went on a whole rant and an actual, like, he believed it too, that Chris Davis has ALS because nobody who doesn't can be that bad.
I remember that.
It was just insane work.
Because I remember back in the day, because I remember this got sent in the Discord so many times, like when this was going on, like in the Discord that we had. Oh my god. I think somebody, like, dude, I swear to god, I think like somebody made like their fantasy team name that or something. Or somebody like made their nickname in the Discord that. Now, obviously this is back in the days, like 2018, we were like 14 and shit, but
yeah.
Like, it was crazy. It was ridiculous. Yeah, O'Hoppe has not been O'Hoppe hasn't been the guy. How do we get to Polanco? I don't know.
Well, it's just because I was thinking about Jarren Duran's slash line and then Logan O'Hoppe's stats, and then I remember that tweet.
Oh yeah, true. On the other hand, though, Chase Silseth is like actually not bad. Like he's actually solid. He's not like a crazy good reliever, but he's good at he's really good at like two things. He's really good at missing bats and limiting homers. the Rangers are like they're good, but obviously we know that they're not like cream of the crop good. You know what I mean? Obviously they're good. Like they're first in the AL West right now. Granted, they're only half a game above of Houston. Not even Seattle. They're only half a game ahead of Houston. But like, what am I trying to say here? If the Rangers like, I wouldn't even say that they like desperately need pitching. Their ERA for their staff, I guess, is a bit rough. You know, their bullpen hasn't really been that great. So this is like an improvement. I would still probably argue that they... Actually, no, I guess their offense has been good now I'm thinking about it again.
And the thing is, it's not like this return is that, like, you know, crazy.
No. I don't remember the return, but I don't imagine it's anything crazy.
It's Angel Hernando, who this year in...
He's like a really low
single
level.
A.
He's a low level
He's
shortstop,
19 years old. He'll be 20. Yeah, third base shortstop. Incredible defender. He's been hitting well in single A, but he is almost 20 years old in single A. And it's not like his numbers are outstanding. It's like just decent. Like a 114 WRC plus is solid. But obviously running, you know, not the best swing decisions for the most part at this. Which at this age, it's not like that's a deal breaker, but that's definitely something that you want to be better than where it's at. Not like an outstanding runner. Like, he doesn't do anything extraordinary well outside of his defense. And, you know, Jeff Fletcher, who's a beat reporter for the Angels, said that he was talking to some guys in the Angels org and that they think, Mozeliak in particular thinks that Arenado's better than the publications have rated him and thinks that he should be top 10 in their system. I don't know if I agree with top 10, but his defensive floor definitely makes him better than the average prospect in that sense, where like he automatically has a better chance of reaching the majors because he is very good defensively.
Yeah, and when you have like that level, you have a lot more room for error in terms of the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
Right? Like, think about like the insanely good like defenders who are not good hitters that have jobs. Like for a long time, it was Nick Ahmed, and he was a semi-valuable piece. Nick Allen right now, you know? Guys like that.
But at almost 20, running an OPS of 769, you're not like, this is someone you're not going to expect much offense from. Obviously that can change. Obviously it can go up a bit, but like, again, this is just not somebody that you're looking at and you're thinking, okay, he's going to be, you know, an all-star, perennial all-star, great. Like, you're not looking at this thinking like you just got, you know, the steal of the year in a trade. You're not looking at this like we just got a future superstar.
Absolutely.
You're looking at like we just got a really nice depth piece that can hopefully, you know, one day when we're contending more, be a very solid, you know, rotational piece for this team. And we're talking like 4 or 5 years when the Angels are, if everything goes according to plan, are ready to try to win again.
If he reaches the majors and he's like what you want him to be defensively and he's like an average hitter, like insanely good outcome. Because that probably makes him, what, maybe a 4-win player? 4.5-win player, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, especially playing the third base shortstop position, you're going to get increased value there in itself. It's not like he's a good defender at, like, left field or first base. So that in itself is inherently adding more value. So, yeah, I mean, at the very least, you're getting a guy who can field at a very highly above average level. So, like I said, that raises his floor substantially because had he just been an average fielder, this hit tool would not be nearly good enough for him to ever probably see the majors.
Absolutely. And on the Rangers side of things, you know, again, you get, you know, a young controllable reliever in Silseth, who, again, he's going to give you a boost this year. You're going to have him for another 4 years after this. I mean, the Ohapi thing is just like, you know, you're taking a flower at him, see if you can try and resurrect 2024 Ohapi. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe. Who knows? There's a chance, and if it doesn't happen, great. You just non-tender him in the offseason. Or the following offseason, whatever you want to do.
it's not like they paid, like, that's another thing. It's not like that's somebody that Texas is going to be like, losing sleep over losing. And
No.
they're not going to be kicking themselves, being like, oh man, like, obviously that's not for sure. We don't know what he's going to turn out to be, Hernando, but I'm saying in terms of what the likely scenario is.
Mm-hmm.
The likely scenario is that is just not what he's going to be. He's going to be a defense first guy. But that's another thing with O'Hoppe. He is hitting so poorly while also being the worst defensive catcher in baseball.
Yeah, that's a nightmare combo. That is
Like,
just
I know
nightmare.
we joke about players being like, "Oh, what does he even do?" What does he even do for real though?
Yeah, genuinely, like, it does get to a point where, like, you do need to quite, like, everybody brings something to the, sorry, almost everybody brings something to the
Yeah.
table, right?
Like last year he wasn't a good defender and his OPS was 629. He wasn't good by any means, but he still hit like 20 home runs. He has
Mm-hmm.
4 home runs this year.
Yeah, and even the year before that, when he had a OPS just a little bit above 700, he was roughly like an average defensive catcher, right?
Yeah, and
While
if you're an average defensive catcher and you're running, a slugging over 400 OPS of 712, that's good. You'll take that for sure.
that's a very solid. You know what I mean? That's a big boost to any team,
It's
just to have
yeah,
someone who's just reliably just solid at the catcher spot, which is notoriously difficult to get plus production from. Ohapi does not
especially
give
yeah.
you anything. And here's the other thing, right?
Yeah,
It's
he was 24 that season, so like the assumption was that he was going to keep growing too.
yeah, not do whatever this is, right? It's
Yeah.
one thing if you're just not a good hitter at catcher, right? If you're just like a demon defender, Patrick Bailey was like really good for years doing that, right? But
Yeah.
when you are in the first percentile in terms of framing, and you're in the first percentile in XWOBA, like it gets to a point. You know what I mean? Like now again, that's why they optioned him because I think they realized that you know what, we'll try and take a flyer on him, see if we can fix his tools, but like we don't want you on our major league roster right now. Obviously, because I don't really.
I mean, even Patrick Bailey is running a higher slugging percentage, so it really gets to a point as well.
I mean, yeah, but like again, that's why they optioned him down, right? Because
Yeah.
taking on Ohapi in this trade, it's harmless, genuinely, right? You take a flyer, you say,
Yeah.
you know what, this guy has shown stuff in the past. Maybe we get it back, and maybe we don't. If we don't, great. Like he's in arbitration. It's not like he's under some big contract. If we don't think we can get it out of him anymore, great. We're gonna just non-tender him, release him, whatever. And it not like the day still ends in Y. Literally nothing changes for the Rangers. And if he's good, great. You have now a solid catcher, right?
Yeah, I mean, another thing as well is the fact that their catching has not been good.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the two catchers on their roster right now, Elias Diaz, who is, not a great hitter, obviously, but at least you're getting, some sort of defense there. You're not getting a black hole, so at least he has some value. Austin Wins, who is not played much, but in 69 plate appearances, running a negative 24 WRC plus. And then the two
Is that
catchers,
good? Is that good?
yeah, and then the two catchers that are hurt, Higashioka, who 94 WRC plus, sort of league average, but the defense isn't there, and then Danny Jansen, whose defense is also not there and is running a 70 WRC plus. They have a lot of people who can play the catcher position. They don't have a lot of people who can play it well.
Yeah, and
So
you kind of need somebody who's gonna at least just be solid. I'm not saying that you need to go out there and get like I don't know, fucking Hunter Goodman or Shea Langeliers or whoever, right?
Adley even.
Sorry?
I said, or like Adley.
Yeah, I'm not saying you need to go out there and get like any of those guys, right? But like, you need someone. You need someone who's gonna be good. And again, I don't think that I'm not saying that I think they're going to like turn Ohapi around or that there's even like anything encouraging there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that them taking on Ohapi is like it's harmless. Like there's really no risk to it. That's really all I'm saying is that if it doesn't work out, who cares? If it does, great. Ohapi is just I don't know. They need somebody, and unfortunately,
Yeah,
I think the most likely outcome, I think, is probably a 90% chance that whether it's in the next year and a half or year, whatever it is, Ohabi probably just gets let go by the team. Probably I think that's a very likely outcome. Just because in the nicest way possible, I just don't see him bouncing back because
yeah.
everything is terrible right now. But like,
Yeah, and here's another issue. Here's why I don't even know if like that was like why that's not the dumbest thing is because as well their top catching prospect is their number 4 prospect Malcolm Moore, and many scouts have questioned his ability to field, to actually be a catcher. He's not really athletic, not really agile. He doesn't possess great fielding tools at the catcher position. The bat is what he's there for. He hit just over 30 home runs in 2 years in college, at Stanford. But right now he's 23 years old and he's struggling in Double A. He's running a 682 OPS. He has 5 home runs, which isn't bad, and 105 at bats for a catcher. But it's he's 23 and the highest level he's reached is Double A. So it's definitely this is not going to be something where he's going to be starting next year. This is a bit of a project. He was great when he was in High A, but then has struggled to adapt fully.
Yeah.
He's running an 81 WRC plus in Double A right now.
Yeah, no, it's not spectacular.
ISO under 200, WOBA of 318. He doesn't really, the one thing he does well, for the most part, is he does pull the ball in the air above average. It's not, overwhelming, but that, is obviously going to give him a bit of a boost, that the fact that he's able to do that, because that's not something that every player is able to do. But as a 23-year-old who hasn't even reached AAA yet, and this is someone who played 2 years in college in 23 and 24. So it's not like he's just coming from college now, and it's not like he came out of high school. He should have already been a bit more polished than he is. 2025 in his age 22 season, in High A, he ran a 564 OPS, 198 average, and 207 at-bats. Small sample size, and it is an adjustment, but that's after he had a 672 OPS in High A the year before. So it's just really like, what's going on there? He doesn't seem like he's gonna, like, that to me is not your number 4 prospect. Looking at that, looking at his tools, looking at that's like a Fugazi one, I guess.
Yeah.
He's not, that just shows, I guess, how top heavy it is, because they're prospect pool. Because they have Walcott, they have Scarborough, who, obviously
they have who?
Looks like not the city, but he's got a great fastball, great slider. Like, he's looking good. AJ Russell, I've heard very good things about. Yolfran Castillo, I've heard good things about. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I've scouted these guys personally, but Malcolm Moore just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb here, being a catcher who can't hit or field, similar to literally every single other catcher they have on the roster. What's gonna make this guy different?
Yeah, it's because, like, realistically, by the sound, I'm not going to pretend to be familiar with the scouting report. Judging by everything that you're saying, he's more of an he's an offensive catcher, not really there for the defense, whatever. Like, what's his ideal outcome? It kind of sounds like he's like 100. Like, his ideal outcome is maybe like a Ryan Jeffers type of player.
I mean, I was gonna go more so with like a more recent Danny Jansen, like, not when he's putting up his ridiculous defensive numbers, but sort of like what we've seen from him since leaving the Blue Jays. WRC plus in and around the range of like 90, 95 with below average defense, and a guy who's going to be DHing probably decent amount. That's kind of what I see.
Which, if you're a below average hitter and you're DHing, you're just not valuable at all.
Which like another point is, if you're like not good defensively as a catcher and you're not hitting either, what makes him better than literally any other catcher in their system? What makes him a choice over somebody like Diaz or someone like Wins or someone like Jansen even or someone like Higashioka? Like, it's just it's really unfortunate because the Rangers don't have an answer at catcher. And it's not like that's like a very easy thing to fix. It's not like catcher is, some position where there's so much elite talent. It's not like there's so much of them, but
Yeah.
the thing is with Logan O'Hoppe is, does he move like he needs to bounce, like he needs to go back to what he was, or else the same problem, you did nothing to address the problem. If anything, you just made it even more confusing by adding a guy who does the exact same thing that of the guys you already have do, except worse.
Yeah, you're just kind of doing like a lot of nothing, which again, I think that realistically, I think the most likely outcome is that like within the next 2 years, O'Hoppe's just released or something, or non-tendered or whatever. I think that's probably like over an 80% chance that that ends up being what's happening, because I don't think he's very good, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I guess, like, I guess, bro. Like, I guess, sure, go get Logan O'Hoppe. Like, literally, when this trade went down, people were saying the Rangers bought and they got worse because of fucking Logan O'Hoppe. That's how not good he is.
I mean, yeah.
I saw this piece and I was crying, bro. I was like, man. I was like, you guys are different, man. Not to necessarily say that they're all like super incorrect, because definitely makes the situation worse if he was on the major league roster, but
yeah,
it is what it is, I guess. Anyways, okay, so we're not missing any other trades, right?
No.
Okay, so you sent me something pretty interesting a few days ago. So Jeff Passan was saying that MLB owners, apparently they believe that there's not going to be a single game played next year.
Yes, that's what they're treating this as.
As a result, they're informing their GMs to take that into consideration when they are trying to negotiate trades over the next, until Monday. Which is interesting. So,
yeah.
There are certain players that I think it affects, and certain players where it really doesn't. You know what I mean? If you were going to trade for, let's say, a Jose Soriano, right? Because I think he's under contract through, 2028?
Yeah.
I think that's the type of player where it heavily affects his kind of price. Right?
Yeah.
That kind of player. If it's a player like... Who's someone who's under contract for more than that? That's like been kind of rumored to get traded, even if it's unlikely. Like a 3-4 years of control plus type of thing.
That could get traded. Like any position or pitcher.
Anyone.
Hunter Goodman.
I don't think it would.
2030.
Yeah, I don't think it would affect like a Hunter Goodman as much, right? But it's the teams that are looking for the guys who are under control through 2028, and obviously through 2027 as well. Those are the guys, right? Sorry, before I say this, if a guy is under contract through 27, they don't play a game next year. Does it take a year off the contract?
So that is one thing that's 1,000,000% going to be one of the big talking points in the new CBA, because that's not confirmed nor denied at this point.
Because I guess we don't have.
It's not often where you lose a full season.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent is the NHL back in 04-05. They locked out, missed the whole season. And it did burn a contract year. So if somebody had 4 years left, or I'll use a better one. Let's say they had 1 year left and it was going to be the lockout year. They were then a free agent.
Okay.
And this is very similar to what MLB's going through, because this is the lockout that actually implemented the salary cap. And there was a whole thing where like teams literally had to buy players out in order to be cap compliant, instead of like, it's not like they got grandfathered in where it's like, oh, they're making this much money, so this contract is going to be reduced towards the cap until it's paid. No, you had to buy them out. So teams were losing good players.
Interesting. So, on that note, let's assume that in this scenario, because I think this is why they would take that into consideration, obviously, because if it didn't burn a contract year, I don't think it would be that much of a thing. For big contract players, it would be, obviously because of money, but for other guys, I don't think it would.
Yeah.
So, for the guys then that are under contract through either 2027 or 2028, right?
Yeah.
Those guys probably just lost a lot of trade value, right? The guys under contract for longer than that, Hunter Goodman through 2030, I don't think they lose much value at all, if any, to be honest, because you still have at least like...
No, it's more so the guys who are expiring at the end of the next season, maybe 2028. That's a big maybe.
Yes.
But even then, I feel like...
I think the 2028 ones lose value too. Not like crazy.
Lose value, but not substantially, because they could still be traded for with a full year if the contract gets burned. So it's not going to be...
Exactly. But it's just there's a big difference between right now it would be 2.5 years versus the 1 year, right? If they got traded this deadline. Versus, then. It's a 2.5 year versus a 1 year thing. That's very different. As opposed to, But someone like Hunter Goodman is not going to lose much value, I don't think. But that's interesting because there's a lot of guys that have been rumored to get traded that do objectively fit into this mold. Soriano is one of those guys. We went over a good amount of those types of guys last week. CJ Abrams is someone that falls into that camp. Reed Detmers falls into that group. Obviously, Soriano. Byron Buxton falls into that group. Shea Langoliers falls into that group as well. Like, all of that's a few of the guys. I'm sure there's more off the top of my head that I'm not remembering. But those are guys right now that, let's say a team was talking to, trying to acquire any of those players. They now just lost a lot of trade value because instead of 2.5 seasons, I might lose a full year on that.
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly, I haven't even thought about this too much, but like, imagine you're a team like Tampa Bay or like the Orioles, who aren't known to really dish out these big money extensions, and they were to plan, like, obviously this isn't good for baseball, just trading players before you have to give them the extension. But I wonder how much is going to change their mindset going into this deadline, where it's like, okay, we can't wait till next year to trade him before he's a free agent and get value for him, because we don't know if we can next year, so we might have to do that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, for example, Adley Rutschman is a free agent at the end of the next... 2028, I think it is.
It's after
so,
2027.
Like... Yeah, okay. So, like, if... the Orioles could be like, we have Basayo under contract. We don't know if we want to give Rutschman this contract, like this big contract. If it burns a year and there's no baseball next year and they don't trade him before then, like at this deadline, for example, then they're going to be lessening the return, and then it might change their plans altogether. So
absolutely, and they very well just could lose him altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's that kind of scenario. So obviously the rentals, it's not going to affect their value at all. Their value is going to be the same. The Tarek Skubals, the Kevin Gosman.
Speaking of value, Luis Arias, in the 8th inning, a 2 RBI singles. Come get your guy, everybody. MLB, get this elite player.
Listen, I know y'all want to tap in. I know y'all are on that.
Yeah.
So lock in, fellas. But yeah, I do, like, that's a very interesting thing. Also, it tells you where the owners think this is going to go. So the players have been very, like, or the players union has basically said, like, we're not agreeing to a salary cap under any condition. And this is basically saying that the owners are like, all right, like, they are willing to play hardball. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting. So it makes it a lot more uncertain, obviously, right? Because if they're saying, yeah, we don't think a single game is going to be played next year, that's saying, yeah, we're going to hold out until we get this cap. Which I hope it doesn't happen, because I think it would genuinely make a lot of things in the sport worse, in terms of roster building and shit. But yeah, like that's it's kind of telling as to where they think it's gonna go. So I mean, again, we'll see what happens, but like, whew, very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
All right. On that note,
is it time for the midseason awards to end us off for the night?
Absolutely, I think it is. So
take us home, baby.
So, well, we split up the monthly stuff because we didn't want to do all the awards like right at the same, time.
Yes.
We felt like that would have been a bit excessive. So that's why we started with the monthly awards. Now we have our midseason awards. So, if everyone remembers, at the end of last year, we kind of did like a full ballot. We're not doing a full ballot right now. We're going to save our ballots for the end of the season. We are going to be giving our mid-season, or I guess, it's not like the middle of the season, but, roughly 100 or so games in, MVP, Cy Young, Reliever of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. We are going to be giving our awards for those three, right? Some of them are going to be, pretty obvious. I'm sure that there are some where, it's, pretty easy. There's going to be some where, there's conversations to be had. Maybe a guy, just fell out of the race or something like that. Who knows? Yeah. But we are going to try to settle we're going to try to settle some things here. So, Ethan, with that said,
yes, sir.
I'm going to let you start. You can start. We'll start with MVP. You can start in the AL or NL, wherever you want to start.
AL MVP. Give me Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, I went with Yordan too.
Hot take there. I know, it's scorching.
You know what makes me sad about this one though?
What?
I thought it was gonna be Bobby Witt Jr.'s year, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be his year because he started off the year so good, and I mean he stayed really good too. I think this recent IL stint kind of took it from him, and not that he can't get it back by the end of the season, because apparently he's gonna be back pretty soon. Like, they're saying that he's gonna be back on Tuesday, or that he's on track to return on Tuesday, which makes it a pretty short IL stint, which is good that it's a short one. But like, I do like, it's unfortunate.
At this point with how their season's going, just shut them down. Don't re-aggravate anything. Get healthy for next year.
I wouldn't be super opposed to it. I mean, obviously, if it's a minor injury, I don't really think it's that big of a deal, but yeah, like, I was like, especially when he started off like really hot, and there was like until he went on the IL, I'm pretty sure he was leading the AL in WAR. I was pulling for Bobby Witt Jr. to win that award. Like, if the season ended 2 weeks ago, he would have been my guy. Still a plus hitter, even if he's not like Yordan levels of offense. That plus his like elite defense, overall it just added up to him being the best player in the AL this season. I was really pulling for him for it. But with that being said, that is not to discredit Yordan Alvarez, because holy fuck, this guy is crazy. He's been the best hitter in the AL this year, Ethan, and it's not close. It's not like remotely close at all. He leads the American League in pretty much every major offensive statistic. He leads the American League in FWAR. He leads the American League in weighted runs created plus. He leads the league in xWOBA. He leads the league in WOBA. He leads the AL in slugging. He leads the AL in OBP. In batting average, he leads the AL in isolated power. He leads the AL in runs scored. He leads the AL in home runs, and he leads the AL in RBIs.
Pretty solid, I think.
Pretty solid, leading the AL in pretty much every single offensive statistic. You know
what I think is the craziest part about that?
What?
It's that he's a DH and he leads in F4.
Yes. And the plate appearance difference between him and Bobby Witt Jr. isn't like that crazy. It's like 60 plate appearances. I mean, that's, a big number, but it's not like
Yeah.
he's leading by like 150 plate appearances, right?
No.
He's like
But with the bat, when there's that much discrepancy in the two's bats, I
I
feel like you
know.
gotta give it to
Oh
yeah.
no! I'm not saying that. It's like I'm pretty right now. I think it's pretty clearly Jordan. But what I'm saying is that gap in WAR is like half a win, right? With Bobby Witt Jr. being a plus hitter and like arguably the best defender of the sport at shortstop, his WAR as a DH, mind you, is above Dylan Dingler, who again insanely good defensive catcher, which juices his WAR by the way, and a 135 WRC plus hitter. And he still leads him in a WAR. Because his offense is that fucking good. There is literally nobody on the planet that is as good of a hitter as Yordan Alvarez. He is that fucking dude. And as of right now, as of July 31st, 2026, I don't think it's a conversation. Nobody's come close to him offensively. When Judge gets healthy, we'll have the conversation, but, until right now, nobody this year is touching him. Like, literally fucking nobody.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I guess we both have Jordan. We'll go over to the NL really quick. I don't know about you, Ethan. I don't have Shohei Ohtani. I have Pete Crow Armstrong.
So do I.
I think it's been a really interesting conversation all year, right? Obviously, Ohtani, as of like really recently, hasn't been pitching because of it's a knee thing, I think, right?
Yeah.
So he's been held back from pitching. He's still hitting, obviously. He's been a fantastic hitter this year, Ohtani. 149 WRC plus. When he's pitched this year, he's been really good. But the thing is, 85 innings, fantastic pitching season, 1.79 ERA. But with that said, I think that we need to just sit here and we need to acknowledge, right, that PCA is legitimately having a fantastic season. Not just fantastic. He's been the best player in the league this year. By a pretty solid margin, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, because as good as Ohtani's been, I would say the PCA is like, I feel pretty comfortable putting him above Ohtani for the season. Pico Armstrong leads the NL in F WAR right now. He's at 7.1. Do you want to guess who's second and what their WAR is?
Isn't it Lopez?
It is Otto Lopez. You want to guess what his F WAR is?
I saw a graphic like today. It's like 4.5, isn't it? I saw a tweet today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people, it's funny because everyone's saying like, oh, the Jays are stupid for letting him go. He wasn't doing that here. With all due respect, that was not going to happen here.
There was a second team that let him go after us, by the way.
Yeah.
I guess if you do combine Ohtani's pitching and batting WAR, it is like 6. To be fair, I kind of forgot about that when I was looking at the leaderboard.
But still not as high as PCA.
It's still not. So there was this conversation, and I'm pretty sure this was happening. I saw this getting tweeted a lot, like either right when Ohtani got injured or like right before. Where how much more about now? This is not to discredit Ohtani's two-way ability, right? Because we all know by this point. I don't really think we need to talk about it. We know, right? Yeah. His offense, as good as it is, plus his pitching. But on the other hand, you have PCA's offense and how good that is, plus debatably the best defensive player in the sport.
Yeah.
In center field, by the way, which is incredibly valuable. He leads all of baseball in outs above average. Right? And he leads all of baseball in fielding run value. Both by solid margins. Right? You want to guess who's 5th in fielding run value?
Who's 5th?
Brandon Valenzuela.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to him.
Great player.
Shout out to him. But yeah, PCA leads both by a solid margin. He's the best defender in the sport. And he's an insanely good hitter. Like, he's also, at the same time, an MVP caliber hitter. The only players in the NL with a higher WRC plus than him this season are Juan Soto and James Wood. Hilarious that it's those two, by the way, that they got traded for each other, but those are the two ahead of him. Now, how does that stack up to Ohtani and his hitting and then the pitching thing? I think, honestly, that if PCA stays, like, you know, more or less as he's been, if he runs a 150 WRC plus for the rest of the season, I think it's his award, and I don't think it's a conversation. Right? Assuming that Ohtani, like, doesn't pitch until, even if he doesn't pitch till September, I still think it wouldn't be a conversation unless Ohtani has, like, a 200 WRC plus the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Then, obviously, that's a little different. But as it stands right now, I think it's pretty comfortably PCA. Like, the combination of his offense and his defense is just so insane. Right? Like, I think it's so ridiculous. I don't think it's close. I think he's just that fucking good. That, you know, we need to sit here and we need to respect it. Right? Also, I saw someone tweet this. Actually, I think it was Steven who tweeted this. That if PCA actually won MVP over Ohtani, that'd be like a crazy story in sports. That Ohtani, and keep in mind, not watched Ohtani. This is still fucking insanely good Ohtani. Losing out on MVP to somebody else. Just because that player was that fucking good that they took the MVP.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That would be an insane story. And honestly, listen, man, I'm here for it, bro. Bring it out. Bring it out, because I think that's, I don't know. I think he's the guy. Now, what I'm hoping doesn't happen is that PCA has, like, the slump that he did last year. That's what I'm really hoping doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope that he can just finish it strong.
Now, granted, his process is a lot better this year. Like, he still chases a lot, but not nearly as much as last year. He's cut down on his chase rate a lot. His walk rate is up a fuck ton. You know what I mean? He's even whiffing slightly less than he was last year. And then obviously, like, the launch angle is a lot more optimal too. So those things are all helping. Compared to where he was last season. Now, granted, that takes into account his second half as well as his first half, but, you know, it's both. Anyways, let's move on to our Cy Young picks. And I'm very... I know what you're going to say, and I'm glad that you're going to say it. My AL pick is Dylan Cease.
Yup, same here.
Fuck yeah. Let's ride. As we've said, I think for a good chunk of the season, I don't think
I'm taking him over I know off speed, dude.
I am too. I don't think that there's a wrong answer between the two. I think, you know, both answers are correct. You know what I mean? The underlying stuff is pretty similar. I know the ERA favors Schlittler. Maybe you favor the few extra starts that he's had over Cease. I know Cease was on the IL for like 2 weeks or something like that earlier in the year. If that's something you take into consideration, you know, totally valid, right? I do think that by the end of the season, I don't think that the volume difference is really going to matter, because it's going to be 20 innings, right? Realistically speaking, it's going to be around 20, at most 30 innings. I think that if Cease maintains his distance right now, in terms of like the rate stats and like the expected stuff, and just basically all like the how good are you actually pitching stuff, I think that it's his award. Do I think that they would give it to him? No, because I do think that the Yankees being good is going to help Schlittler's case. Not that I think that should matter, just that, you know, I think voters are going to like it. But I think that just the way Dylan Cease has been pitching this year, in terms of all American League starters, he's been the best strikeout guy by a solid margin, not close. He has the best... among all AL starters, he leads in FIP, he leads in expected FIP, he leads in expected ERA. And on top of that, he's third in earned run average too at 246, which is an incredibly good mark, by the way. It's not like it's not like he has like 3.2, it's 2.4. Like, that's insanely good. Like, you have seen a lot of Cy Young winners with worse marks than that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing. Also, he's my guy, so I respect it. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like there's a wrong answer between him and Schlittler. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
him and Schlittler have
they're
both
both
been
yeah.
insanely good. If they gave it to Schlittler, I'm not losing sleep over it. You know what I mean? That's like, yeah, that also is very. That's also it's also correct. You know what I mean? It's the other correct answer.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go over to the National League. Ethan, who do you have?
I've got the Miz.
Yeah, I feel like that one was easy,
Jacob
wasn't it?
Mizorowski, he's
Yeah.
been the best pitcher in baseball this year. There's
Yeah.
not too much argument going on. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, that's not to say he's the only pitcher in the NL that's having a great season,
Yeah.
but he is definitely the best of the best, the
Yes.
creme de la creme, if you will. You know, Christopher Sanchez, Paul Skeens, Chris Sale. I mean, usual suspects, but it's the Miz, and it's not really close at all.
Absolutely. Kind of like some other guys who were kind of in that conversation.
This is one of the more obvious ones.
Yeah, like Chase Burns as well is kind of, I think, kind of in that combo as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, Paul Skeens. I low-key think that Jesus Luzardo, like if the season ends right now, could push for a top 5 finish, I think. I don't know if he would get it, but I think he's at least in the convo. Dustin May's underlying stuff has been really good, and if his ERA turns around, I think he could be a down ballot guy.
Yeah.
You know, low key another sleeper pick for like down ballot, Cade Cavalli. He's been really good this season too. But yeah, it's Mizorowski, and there's not like I don't really think there's much to say. Like he's just that fucking good.
Yeah.
And that is with a season that Chris Sale is having, where his ERA is 2.08 and his FIP is 2.47. That Miz is so much further ahead of him, and it's not close.
Yeah.
With Chris Sale having that good of a season. That's not something that happens. Like, the year that Chris Sale is having, that wins a lot of Cy Youngs, I think. But, unfortunately, the Miz is the Miz. So, you know, it can be what it be, I guess. Let's go over to the AL. Who do you have for the American League reliever of the year?
Louis Varland, the
dog, baby. The committee.
Let's go.
That's the guy. Yeah, this is, honestly, I think this is kind of another one where I don't really think it's close, to be honest.
And somehow the NL's even more of a discrepancy between first and second.
Which is crazy, because I genuinely think that you can argue that Louis Varland is having like an all-time great relief season. His ERA is is 0.98, his FIP is 1.5. He has 2.5 WAR as a relief pitcher, which is crazy.
Yeah.
He's pitched only 55 innings. Like, he's more valuable than a good chunk of starters this season. If you put him on the pitching leaderboard, he would be tied for 22nd among...
He also pitches way more than your average closer.
Yeah. He would have the same F4 as, like, Joe Ryan, Gavin Williams, Sandy Alcantara, and, like, Shane Baz.
Yeah.
Like, those kind of guys. He would have a higher F4 than, like, Kevin Gausman, Trevor Rogers, Max Meyer.
We're not going to ignore you sneaking in Shane Baz, but yeah, I get it.
All right. Listen. Whether or not I think Shane Baz is like that, he's like, that's where he is on the leaderboard. I didn't put him there. I didn't put him there. If it was me, I would have put a minus before the 2. I'm kidding. But yeah, like Max Meyer, Logan Webb, like he's more valuable than those guys by F4. More valuable than like a Jose Soriano. That's just how fucking good Louis Varland has been this year. And, you know, with all due respect to other guys like a Cade Smith, Brent Hendrick, who we, talked about earlier on the monthly part, Aroldis Chapman, don't love him as a human, but, as a pitcher, he's been really good this season. There's been a lot of guys this season in the AL, in the relief side, who have been really fucking good. But you know who's been head and shoulders above all of them? Louis fucking Varland. He's been that guy. He's on my baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, Louis Varland is one of 2 pitchers who have at least 20 save opportunities
and have converted
and have yet to blow a save. So the other one, can you take a wild guess?
I wonder who.
Who do you have for the NL relief pitcher of the year?
Of course.
So far.
As everyone who probably is watching this episode does as well, it's Mason Miller.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I mean, the guy leads the NL in FIP by a good chunk. 0.43. So the next mark is 1.15. Ironic, he leads the NL in ERA, like, among relievers. Again, he's a full run better than the next pitcher, by the way, who's Tyler Phillips at 182. You know, he's just insane. He hasn't allowed a home run literally all season. He's not walking that many guys. He leads NL relievers in strikeouts per 9 by 3.
Yeah.
16.75 is his mark. Second is Mason Montgomery. Also shout out to him at 13.73. More than 3 strikeouts ahead, like per 9 ahead of the next guy, which is crazy. That's like the mark basically between 2 and like 14, give or take. Or I guess like 2 and 15, if you want to go there. But yeah. So you know how I said where Louis Varland ranks among like WAR for pitchers this season? I'm going to give you some pitchers who now again, I understand I don't love WAR for pitchers, but I'm just pointing it out, right?
Yeah.
Mason Miller's F4 this season is 2.9, right?
Yeah.
That would tie him for 13th among all the pitchers in baseball. That would tie him with Brian Wu. That would put him ahead of guys like Sean Burke, Drew Rasmussen, Jacob deGrom, Logan Gilbert, Braxton Ashcraft, just to name a few. You know? Just to name a few guys who Mason Miller has been more valuable than this season. By WAR, obviously. In, like, by the way, half the innings. Less than half, I think, actually. Yeah, less than half the innings. He's just that good. This is, I mean, like we said earlier when we're talking about the monthly stuff, this is one of the best relief seasons ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Genuinely.
2 of the best, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, I would argue 2 of the best relief seasons. Definitely 2 of the best relief seasons in my lifetime. I think Mason Miller is like an all-time relief pitching season, I think. This might... Do I want to say this on the pod? You know what? I'm going to. I would say that if Mason Miller, like, tracks, like, the rest of the year, right? I think that his 2026 season, right? Just based on strictly how dominant he's been, probably tops any Mariano Rivera season. And not just tops it, fucking clears them. By a solid margin. Comfortably ahead of any Mo season. If he keeps his current pace. No reaction.
Like, it's just...
What
do you even say?
I know it's a bold claim because it's Mariano Rivera, but also that's just legitimately...
But what do you even say watching him that hasn't been said? You know what I mean? Like, it's just... You can't even, like... Say, like, you can't even come out and say, no, you're right. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly, because, like, as good as Mariano Rivera was, and I'm not denying it, he's one of the best relief pitchers ever, right? There is a reason why he is the all-time saves leader. There is not... If I say gun to your head, name me 3 relievers in MLB history more dominant than 2026 Mason Miller, the bullet is entering your cranium.
Yeah.
Like, because if you get... Like, you're not naming 3 guys who have been more dominant than he has this season. Like, you're just not. It's just not happening. You either freeze up and the bullet enters your cranium, or you say a name who is not more dominant than him, and the bullet enters your cranium. Either one of those happens. I hate to be that guy. And listen, I don't want to be one of those guys who just is, like, shitting on old-timers. You know I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really about on here, right? But...
Yeah.
That's just how good Mason Miller's been. And I was trying to figure out a way to articulate it without saying, yeah, he just strikes out a lot of guys, doesn't walk guys, no homers, blah, blah, blah. Basically the shit that we've been saying all season. I was trying to find a new way to say it. And I think that's the way that I'm putting it now. Right? Because tell me, Who out of all the guys in MLB history
Yeah.
who have been like that? Who's been as dominant as he is? Nobody.
Yeah.
Legitimately nobody. So, it do what it do. Anyways, we'll go over to Rookie of the Year. Ethan, who do you got in the American League?
The American League, I've got Munetaka Murakami. The pace he's been hitting is pretty crazy, and even with the injury, he is still up there in like every category. So definitely one of the most talented hitters in a rookie season
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
we've seen in a while.
That guy's killing it.
Yeah.
That guy's killing it. I'm glad the injury didn't keep him out like a super long time. I thought he was going to be out a lot longer than he was. But yeah, man, no, he's killing it. He's a fucking slugger, man. Certified fucking slugger. That guy fucks. You remember all the talk preseason about like the concerns about whether Murakami was going to translate, and like understandable.
Yeah.
Like there was some pretty
Yeah.
there's some stuff there with the whiff stuff where they can get the fastball or whatever. That I can understand why people would be concerned, but holy shit,
Yeah.
he said fuck every single bit of that noise. His hard hit rate is almost 60.
It's insane.
His expected WOBA on contact is almost 520. I need everyone at home to... I'm going to repeat that for everybody listening. His expected WOBA on contact is almost 520. It's 518. I need everybody to take a second and just process that number and understand how insane that is. Right?
Yeah.
Just how insane that is. He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. However, with that said, he is not my pick for Rookie of the Year. My pick for Rookie of the Year, at least in the AL, it's Kevin McGonigal.
Yeah, that's valid.
That's the guy.
I don't see an issue with that.
That's the guy. He's been probably the second best hitting rookie in the AL, I would say, behind Murakami. I think the volume that he has over him is a big factor. I do think that the all-around game that he has over Murakami, he's a better defensive player, he's a better base runner, and the offensive numbers, it's not like I'm not going to say he's a comparable offensive player to Murakami, but the overall production is close enough to the point where I think everything else is pretty comfortably putting him ahead. He leads all of Major League rookies in WAR this season. That includes AL and NL. He is more than a win and a half ahead of the next rookie, who is, Murakami. And again, he's been a really good hitter this season. 132 WRC plus, hitting 285. OBP just under 390. He is a really... We said this earlier when we were talking about Valdez, but he's a very, mature hitter. You know what I mean? A lot of the times when a young player comes up, maybe they're really antsy in the box or they're really eager to do stuff and they kind of try to do too much, right? You want to guess what his chase rate is? And what percentile it ranks in?
Well, I'm going to guess it's pretty damn high.
18.4%, which is the 99th percentile.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. He does not let any pitchers off the hook. He's not a big-time power hitter, which is okay. He doesn't need to be. He's making it work. He's been 32% better than the average hitter despite not being a power guy. And to be fair, even in the minors, he was almost never a power guy, right? He had flashes at times where he was hitting for power, I guess last year. Across the minors, he was hitting for some solid power in high A and double A and triple A. But outside of that, he was never a power hitter in the minors, so I don't really think you can hold that against him in the majors. But he's just been that fucking dude this year. He's been really good. He's been one of the big reasons why the Tigers have kind of been able to be semi close to a wild card spot. They're 4 games out, which isn't crazy far. I don't think that they're that good, but one of the reasons they're as close as he is, or they have been, is because McGonigal has been as good as he is. That's my spiel.
Yeah.
I do want to give another shout out though. I want to give a shout out to Parker Messick. I think he deserves pretty solid consideration for the award too. Not that I would give it to him, but we should get. I think he deserves his flowers because I think he's. I mean, he's going to be on Cy Young ballots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should be there too. I think Tristan Peters deserves a shout too. The other White Sox, Canadian by the way. Shout out to him. Yeah, I just wanted to give those dudes some recognition before we move on to our final award of the night. Ethan, who do you have for the National League Rookie of the Year?
Big asterisk, but I have Esmeralda Valdez. The asterisk is, will he be able to continue it for the rest of the year? And if he does, will he have enough, at bats and plate appearances for them to give it to him? If so, it's for sure him. If not, I'll go JJ Weatherholt.
Yeah, I feel like JJ Weatherholt, at least right now, it's the easy one, right? He has been not even just one of the best rookies in the sport. I mean, I would say he's been the second best rookie in the sport behind McGonagall. He's been one of the best players in the league this year. He is ninth in F-WAR among all position players this year. He has, by F-WAR, been a top 10 position player in the league this season.
Let me ask you something, though.
What's up?
If Valdez finishes with about, let's say, finishes at about, let's say like 320 plate appearances and hits like 25 30 to 30 home runs, and has a WRC plus similar to where it is, do you give it to him even if it's only like 90 games?
I would say over like 300 plate appearances, I guess. What would I say? I would say no, probably not, just because I would say no, probably not. Just because, as good as that is, JJ Weatherholt he's been a plus hitter. He has obviously not been as good as Valdez has been. Valdez is already, he's probably going to finish with more home runs than Weatherholt, but Weatherholt has been a plus hitter. He's been a 111 WRC plus hitter, and he's been one of the best defensive players in the sport, which, by the way, is not common for a rookie. A lot of young players are just straight up not good defensively. You know what I mean? Even Bobby Witt Jr. in his first year, he was terrible defensively. If you guys remember, he was bad. JJ Weatherholt has been a top 3 defender in the sport this year. It's been him, PCA, and Bobby Witt Jr. It's been those 3. Outs above average, he's currently tied with Bobby Witt Jr. for second, only trailing PCA. In fielding run value, he only trails PCA. He is one of the best defenders in the sport, while being a plus hitter, while being sneaky, one of the better base runners in the sport as well. I feel like that can kind of get forgotten a little bit, just because of how good everything else is. But he's low-key already a top 15 base runner. He's tied for 15th right now in BSR. Yeah. He's such a good all-around player. He's probably going to finish north of 5 WAR. I think that Valdez, literally, unless he hit... I think the only way Valdez can get it is if he somehow hits 35 homers and 300 plate appearances. I think that's the only way I could possibly see him getting it. Unless Weatherholt goes into a crazy slump in the second half. Crazy fucking slump. And he finishes at a 4 WAR. Which, keep in mind, he's basically at 4 WAR right now. I think that's the only way I could see him getting it. Just because I think even before Valdez got called up, there was such a big gap, I think, between Weatherholt and everybody else. To the point where it's Valdez came up, and for Rookie of the Year, he's fighting a losing battle. You know what I mean? Yeah. However you want to slice it, he's fighting a losing battle. Yeah. There's a lot of hills that need that's a really tall hill that needs to be climbed. Now, to be fair, he's already third among NL rookies in F4 this year, at least position players. Only TJ Rumfield and, of course, Weatherholt are ahead of him. But the thing is, Weatherholt is currently 2 wins ahead of him, more than double his F4. Again, being a plus hitter, one of the best defenders in the sport, and a really fucking good, an elite base runner.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Valdez has enough time to catch him.
That's why it's it reminds me of the Schwarber thing, where it's if he hits 500 home runs, is he gonna or we're not, whatever. Like if he hits however many home runs, like whatever number we decide would be like the benchmark, would he be a Hall of Famer? It's kind of like that, where it's like, you know, if he hits this, if Valdez hits this many home runs, it's going to be so hard for you to look at and say like, we can't give it to him. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it's really going to come down to the wire. If he continues this pace, it's going to be so hard for me to not give it to him.
Which is very possible that he does. That's the only thing though, is I just think that Weatherholt, there was such a big gap when Valdez got called up, right?
Yeah.
That I just don't even know that. Again, if he finishes the season with a 175 WRC plus at the end of September, I still don't know if he would get it, just because of how big the gap was between Weatherholt and whoever was next at that time. I don't know, like Nolan McLean or something, right?
Yeah.
Like even that. Who, keep in mind, Nolan McLean early in the season looked like a Cy Young candidate, and still has been fucking insanely good this year. He's going to be on Cy Young ballots. Like, that's how good he's been this year. And there's still a massive gap between him and Weatherholt. You know what I mean? Like, McLean is closer, I think, than Valdez is. And I don't think McLean, granted,
that's fair.
Valdez, if he continues his pace, he's probably going to be ahead of McLean, I would say. But, like, again, I just don't think... I think it was kind of always a losing battle for Valdez just because of when he got called up. Like, we're currently looking at a 40-game sample size, and if these rates do continue for the rest of the year, I just don't know if there's enough time for him to catch him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't know if there's enough time.
That's valid, yeah.
Because if there is... how many more games do the Pirates have left? Let me see. They've played 111 games, so they have 51 games left. Let's assume 4 plate appearances per game over 51, right? That's 204, right? Let's add that on to Valdez's existing plate appearances, which is 159. So you give him 363 plate appearances, right?
Yeah.
You extrapolate his... What was the number I just said? 300 what?
Yeah, I already forgot.
Fuck, okay, hold on, wait. I'm gonna, like, write this down. 4 divided by, or times 51 plus 159, 363. So 363, right? He would probably finish the season at like around a 4, as like a 4-win player, which, to be fair, impressive that he's able to get that far in like 360 plate appearances. That is assuming that he does reach that benchmark, and he, you know, doesn't miss time or whatever, doesn't play, whatever it is, right? Like, assuming that's around where he finishes, I just think that the gap between him and Weatherholt is just too big now. I don't know if there's a way he can catch him, unless he somehow gets even hotter than he is right now.
It's gonna take a lot, but there's a small possibility still.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't rule it out because he's been that fucking good, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. I just think from the start it's a losing battle. So that's what I have to say. So yeah, my guy, I have JJ Weatherholt, and I guess you have Valdez.
I said with an asterisk.
With an asterisk,
my pick, but yeah.
Yeah, I do respect the pick though. I can't lie. Like that's a demon, absolute demon right there.
Yeah.
Anyways, with that said, I think we're more or less done right now. Unless you have anything else that you want to say before we sign off.
No.
All right. So with that, everyone, that is our mid-season awards, and our monthly awards for the month of July. When y'all see this, we're going to be a whole 2 days away from the deadline. And if you guys remember, I think it was a big emotional. If you guys remember, I think it was the second episode we ever did of the podcast last year. Was us grading deadline moves. That is what we're going to be doing next time. We're going to be going through basically fucking everything. Anything that's like really even like remotely worth talking about. We're going to be breaking it down to the tiniest bits on the next one, where we break down and grade all the deadline moves. So with that said, everyone, everyone take care, be easy, y'all know, and get ready for the deadline, bro, because I have a feeling that we're in for something. Hopefully we're in for something. I hope so. I want to see some fun things happen. Anyways, everybody take care, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Stay frosty.